So pull up a seat, and let's talk dogs.
The dog game is dying. Let's talk about the game first, not the dogs. It's the challenge of the wins, the competitive addiction, the thrill of the win, and the rewards of achievements. Losing only gives you the drive to come back. I learned to watch the winners, my motivation was there, my dedication was evident, now I'm a winner. The problem is the cheating to win, manipulating the truth, and then it's the all outliers. How is this sharing our achievements with liars, cheaters, and bullshitters? We have lost the historical value of the dog game. We can't decipher the real from the fake, the lost is the cost. So I salute these dogs of going hard kennels for all that you've given me in the game.
Let's talk about pit bulls. The history, the breeding, the maintaining and feeding, and the controversies surrounding the great hunts. Come interact with the legends, and ask questions, and listen to their stories as we talk about kennels and dogs of the past and present. Hosted by one of the game's most respected kennels, with over 40 years in the hunt, going hard kennels Twin 1 and Twin 2, dogs like Champion the Debrat, the very first champion off-brand champion Mayday, the Dog of the Year, and Register of Merit. Champion Pretty Mama, 2-time Best in Show and 2-time Gamest in Show. Going Hard's Bay Bay, Register of Merit, Damn to Champion What a Day, Champion Gus, Champion Elrod, Champion Yellowbird. So pull up a seat, and let's talk dogs.
The dog game is dying. Let's talk about the game first, not the dogs. It's the challenge of the wins, the competitive addiction, the thrill of the win, and the rewards of achievements. Losing only gives you the drive to come back. I learned to watch the winners, my motivation was there, my dedication was evident, now I'm a winner. The problem is the cheating to win, manipulating the truth, and then it's the all outliers. How is this sharing our achievements with liars, cheaters, and bullshitters? We have lost the historical value of the dog game. We can't decipher the real from the fake, the lost is the cost. So I salute these dogs of going hard kennels for all that you've given me in the game.
Let's talk about pit bulls. The history, the breeding, the maintaining and feeding, and the controversies surrounding the great hunts. Come interact with the legends, and ask questions, and listen to their stories as we talk about kennels and dogs of the past and present. Hosted by one of the game's most respected kennels, with over 40 years in the hunt, going hard kennels Twin 1 and Twin 2, dogs like Champion the Debrat, the very first champion off-brand champion Mayday, the Dog of the Year, and Register of Merit. Champion Pretty Mama, 2-time Best in Show and 2-time Gamest in Show. Going Hard's Bay Bay, Register of Merit, Damn to Champion What a Day, Champion Gus, Champion Elrod, Champion Yellowbird. So pull up a seat, and let's talk dogs.
The dog game is dying. Let's talk about the game first, not the dogs. It's the challenge of the wins, the competitive addiction, the thrill of the win, and the rewards of achievements. Losing only gives you the drive to come back. I learned to watch the winners, my motivation was there, my dedication was evident, now I'm a winner. The problem is the cheating to win, manipulating the truth, and then it's the all outliers. How is this sharing our achievements with liars, cheaters, and bullshitters? We have lost the historical value of the dog game. We can't decipher the real from the fake, the lost is the cost. So I salute these dogs of going hard kennels for all that you've given me in the game.
Let's talk about pit bulls. The history, the breeding, the maintaining and feeding, and the controversies surrounding the great hunts. Come interact with the legends, and ask questions, and listen to their stories as we talk about kennels and dogs of the past and present. Hosted by one of the game's most respected kennels, with over 40 years in the hunt, going hard kennels Twin 1 and Twin 2, dogs like Champion the Debrat, the very first champion off-brand champion Mayday, the Dog of the Year, and Register of Merit. Champion Pretty Mama, 2-time Best in Show and 2-time Gamest in Show. Going Hard's Bay Bay, Register of Merit, Damn to Champion What a Day, Champion Gus, Champion Elrod, Champion Yellowbird. So pull up a seat, and let's talk dogs.
The dog game is dying. Let's talk about the game first, not the dogs. It's the challenge of the wins, the competitive addiction, the thrill of the win, and the rewards of achievements. Losing only gives you the drive to come back. I learned to watch the winners, my motivation was there, my dedication was evident, now I'm a winner. The problem is the cheating to win, manipulating the truth, and then it's the all-out liars. How is this sharing our achievements with liars, cheaters, and bullshitters? We have lost the historical value of the dog game. We can't decipher the real from the fake, the lost is the cost. So I salute these dogs of going hard kennels for all that you've given me in the game.
Let's talk about pit bulls. The history, the breeding, the maintaining and feeding, and the controversies surrounding the great hunts. Come interact with the legends, and ask questions, and listen to their stories as we talk about kennels and dogs of the past and present. Hosted by one of the game's most respected kennels, with over 40 years in the hunt, going hard kennels Twin 1 and Twin 2, dogs like Champion the Debrat, the very first champion off Grand Champion May Day, the Dog of the Year, and Register of Merit. Champion Pretty Mama, two-time Best in Show and two-time Gamest in Show. Going Hard's Bay Bay, Register of Merit, Damn to Champion What a Day, Champion Gus, Champion El Rod, Champion Yellow Bird. So pull up a seat, and let's talk dogs.
The dog game is dying. Let's talk about the game first, not the dogs. It's the challenge of the wins, the competitive addiction, the thrill of the win, and the rewards of achievements. Losing only gives you the drive to come back. I learned to watch the winners, my motivation was there, my dedication was evident, now I'm a winner. The problem is the cheating to win, manipulating the truth, and then it's the all-out liars. How is this sharing our achievements with liars, cheaters, and bullshitters? We have lost the historical value of the dog game. We can't decipher the real from the fake, the lost is the cost. So I salute these dogs of going hard kennels for all that you've given me in the game.
Let's talk about pit bulls. The history, the breeding, the maintaining and feeding, and the controversies surrounding the great hunts. Come interact with the legends, and ask questions, and listen to their stories as we talk about kennels and dogs of the past and present. Hosted by one of the game's most respected kennels, with over 40 years in the hunt, going hard kennels Twin 1 and Twin 2, dogs like Champion the Debrat, the very first champion off Grand Champion May Day, the Dog of the Year, and Register of Merit. Champion Pretty Mama, two-time Best in Show and two-time Gamest in Show. Going Hard's Bay Bay, Register of Merit, Damn to Champion What a Day, Champion Gus, Champion El Rod, Champion Yellow Bird. So pull up a seat, and let's talk dogs.
The dog game is dying. Let's talk about the game first, not the dogs. It's the challenge of the wins, the competitive addiction, the thrill of the win, and the rewards of achievements. Losing only gives you the drive to come back. I learned to watch the winners, my motivation was there, my dedication was evident, now I'm a winner. The problem is the cheating to win, manipulating the truth, and then it's the all-out liars. How is this sharing our achievements with liars, cheaters, and bullshitters? We have lost the historical value of the dog game. We can't decipher the real from the fake, the lost is the cost. So I salute these dogs of going hard kennels for all that you've given me in the game.
Let's talk about pit bulls. The history, the breeding, the maintaining and feeding, and the controversies surrounding the great hunts. Come interact with the legends, and ask questions, and listen to their stories as we talk about kennels and dogs of the past and present. Hosted by one of the game's most respected kennels, with over 40 years in the hunt, going hard kennels Twin 1 and Twin 2, dogs like Champion the Debrat, the very first champion off Grand Champion May Day, the Dog of the Year, and Register of Merit. Champion Pretty Mama, two-time Best in Show and two-time Gamest in Show. Going Hard's Bay Bay, Register of Merit, Damn to Champion What a Day, Champion Gus, Champion El Rod, Champion Yellow Bird. So pull up a seat and let's talk dogs.
The dog game is dying. Let's talk about the game first, not the dogs. It's the challenge of the wins, the competitive addiction, the thrill of the win, and the rewards of achievements. Losing only gives you the drive to come back. I learned to watch the winners, my motivation was there, my dedication was evident, now I'm a winner. The problem is the cheating to win, manipulating the truth, and then it's the all-out liars. How is this sharing our achievements with liars, cheaters, and bullshitters? We have lost the historical value of the dog game. We can't decipher the real from the fake, the lost is the cost. So I salute these dogs of going hard kennels for all that you've given me in the game.
Let's talk about pit bulls. The history, the breeding, the maintaining and feeding, and the controversies surrounding the great hunts. Come interact with the legends, and ask questions, and listen to their stories as we talk about kennels and dogs of the past and present. Hosted by one of the game's most respected kennels, with over 40 years in the hunt, going hard kennels Twin 1 and Twin 2, dogs like Champion the Debrat, the very first champion off Grand Champion May Day, the Dog of the Year, and Register of Merit. Champion Pretty Mama, 2-time Best in Show and 2-time Gamest in Show. Going Hard's Bay Bay, Register of Merit, Damn to Champion What a Day, Champion Gus, Champion Elrod, Champion Yellowbird. So pull up a seat, and let's talk dogs.
The dog game is dying. Let's talk about the game first, not the dogs. It's the challenge of the wins, the competitive addiction, the thrill of the win, and the rewards of achievements. Losing only gives you the drive to come back. I learned to watch the winners, my motivation was there, my dedication was evident, now I'm a winner. The problem is the cheating to win, manipulating the truth, and then it's the all-out liars. How is this sharing our achievements with liars, cheaters, and bullshitters? We have lost the historical value of the dog game. We can't decipher the real from the fake, the lost is the cost. So I salute these dogs of going hard kennels for all that you've given me in the game.
Let's talk about pit bulls. The history, the breeding, the maintaining and feeding, and the controversies surrounding the great hunts. Come interact with the legends, and ask questions, and listen to their stories as we talk about kennels and dogs of the past and present. Hosted by one of the game's most respected kennels, with over 40 years in the hunt, going hard kennels Twin 1 and Twin 2, dogs like Champion the Debrat, the very first champion off Grand Champion May Day, the Dog of the Year, and Register of Merit. Champion Pretty Mama, 2-time Best in Show and 2-time Gamest in Show. Going Hard's Bay Bay, Register of Merit, Damn to Champion What a Day, Champion Gus, Champion Elrod, Champion Yellowbird. So pull up a seat, and let's talk dogs.
The dog game is dying. Let's talk about the game first, not the dogs.
What up?
It's the challenge of the wins, the competitive addiction, the thrill of the win, and the rewards of achievements. Losing only gives you the drive to come back. I learned to watch the winners, my motivation was there, my dedication was evident, now I'm a winner. The problem is the cheating to win, manipulating the truth, and then it's the all-out liars. How is this sharing our achievements with liars, cheaters, and bullshitters? We have lost the historical value of the dog game. We can't decipher the real from the fake, the lost is the cost. So I salute these dogs of going hard kennels for all that you've given me in the game.
Let's talk about pit bulls.
What up? What up? What's up, everybody? Y'all know what time it is. It's Hot Mike Friday. Big shout out to all my people out there in the Shark Tank. Big shout out to all my people out there on the back street. Y'all know what time it is. Don't forget to hit that like button. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already done so. Let me give my shout outs out to my peoples right quick out there in the Shark Tank. Big shout out to Maglai in the house. What up, fam? Yo, my man K-Walk. I see you, fam. Representing the D, my main man Chico Nicholas. What up, fam? Big shout out to my man, Mr. Marcus the Great in the house. What up, fam? Bloodthirst, a.k.a. Havoc 360 in the house. What up, fam? Yo, big shout out to Remo Rio. What up, fam? Salute to my man, Skip Bell in the house. What up, fam? Hellraiser Jane Lewis. I see you, fam. Appreciate everybody showing up on this Friday night. Talk a little bit about some of these bulldoggers, bullshitters. Before I get started, I'm gonna get into something that's real. You know how I do. You know, I was been checking out, you know, Jamal Kent situation, and it's crazy to me how, regardless when it comes to the judicial system and how you have to deal with the judicial system, whether it be state, city, state, federal, it's all the same thing. You know, they throw a bunch of shit at you and they try their best to see what stick to walls. You know, and I say that because, and I don't say that just based on what I hear. I mean, I can speak to these things based on my own experience, what I know. You know, been through all the bullshit, even on the Fed level, on some bullshit. You know, let them tell it. I was, you know, me and my brother, damn it, let the feds tell it. We was like an American cartel type of situation, and we worked every day for a living. But sometimes it has to do with the company you keep. That sometimes leads to these unnecessary problems that you may have obtained over a certain time period. Not to say that was the situation in our case, but it's just one of them situations to where even in the dealing with the Fed situation, it was no different than dealing with the bullshit that we dealt with in the state situation. You know, the state didn't have nothing, but because of you know, how courts work, you know, if you don't have the money to defend yourself, they're going to give you somebody. They're giving you somebody. These are people that they eat lunch with and everything else. So you never know when you're working in, you know, when it's going to work in your best interest. Now, if you have to pay for somebody, and, you know, think about how do you seem to get better representation just because you pay? Because they got to have something, you know, on them back channels, you know, to pay for some of them extra vacations and some of them, you know, extra luxury things that come with the job. Now, that's just my speculation because I never understood, you know, how that concept worked, you know, after seeing, you know, my brother's situation. I think they're dealing with 3, 4, maybe 5 different lawyers, a 3-year process, and still wind up defending yourself with that kind of time over your head, but still took that leap of faith to jump out there and make his own case. But it's a sad situation because, you know, dealing with bulldogs is not a crime. It's not. Owning a treadmill to me is not a crime. You know, the hard thing about dealing with these animals is the company that you keep, the conversations that you may have, the people that you come in contact with. You know, I always say the last thing that you want to do is be in a situation that you have no control over. You know, a bad situation that you have no control over, you're just sitting back waiting for things to happen. At no point do you find a way to go on offense based on some of the things that come at you. Y'all see it every day on YouTube, you know, where you see police pull up on people walking down the street out of just nowhere. You know, before you know it, they come up with that line, you look suspicious. Well, how the hell do you look suspicious walking down the street? Not bothering nobody. You know, those situations lead to, you know, arrest, illegal arrest, violation of your rights. And the reason that kind of shit goes on and why we see it so much is because there's no repercussion to their actions. And see, this is the situation that we're dealing with when it comes down to these bulldogs, these American Pit Bull Terriers. Y'all have to understand and be aware. I'm only speaking because, you know, y'all need to understand the importance of protecting yourself and understanding your rights. And the things that they do and say, I would be like, you know, be on them cameras, or, you know, you got to have something to defend yourself. Now, one of the things that I heard somebody, you know, it was spoke on about, all right, I got all these people out here selling American Pit Bull Terriers. Okay. Now, we know as the community that when we say Daibo, when we say Eli, we know those are dogs of the past. But that conversation changes. And then now, when you start talking about Grand Champion Mayday, Grand Champion Luke Kane, Grand Champion Virgil, I mean, when you start putting them titles on these dogs, that can reverberate into automatically classifying a dog that's been dead 20 years. Damn, there maybe even 30 years. I don't know how long it made it, but I know, come on now. But because if you out here saying these dogs are off for champion so-so or grand champion so-so, does that automatically make you guilty of buying a dog for the purpose of dog fighting? You know, that shit I told you, you know, you throw it on the wall and you see if it stick. Imagine having to fight that case. A dog that's been dead over 20, 30 years. If you look at this community and you understand the history of the American Pit Bull Terrier, they have been holding titles over 100 years. They didn't actually start, I would say, I know it had to have been the early 1950s or 60s when they start, at least didn't have nothing like the journal, but start classifying multiple wins. And at some point they started recognizing what it really took to be a champion. You know, prior to the Sport and Dog Journal, you know, they were still, you knew a great dog, 14 wins, you know how that worked. But the classification of the champions didn't come until, I would think, the early 60s, or right whenever the journal started. And I don't even think they were the first ones to start classifying what it took to be a champion, where they, you know, it became a standard. But to use that analogy now, it's almost saying like any pit bull of any type of being bred in any type of way, by nature, it's supposed to be an American Pit Bull Terrier, which we know has a history that speaks for itself. I mean, the history is there. Are we supposed to totally eliminate the history? But you can't eliminate anything in the past. That's just the history of the dogs. That's not what they're trying to do. What they're trying to do is eliminate the entire breed that is associated in any way with anything in the past, which is almost impossible because 90% of the pit bulls has not been tampered with. And I mean by tampered with, when you start crossing other breeds into it, it's not really a pit bull anymore. It's something else. So them kind don't count. But pit bull to pit bull, you follow it back enough, you're going to run into something that's back there. And that's something that's back there that we have used over many, many, many years to establish the quality of the breed. Now, y'all see how I started the video today. I started out, let's get back to the bulldogging. Let's get back to the game. When we talk on this show, we talk about the history of the game. The people who are a part of that history. The dogs that's involved in that history. All these many, many, many years later, we're still going in, go back 5 and 6 generations just to see what's what. And we call it for what it is. That's a good bloodline. That was a good breed. That was a good dog. So my question is, if I'm bulldogging, and when I say I'm bulldogging like, I would say now 90% of anybody who owns a bulldog at these days, and I see them as pets. I see people trying to train them to be, guard dogs. I've seen people, training them out there to go hunting with. And at what point can somebody just walk up to you and tell you that because you have that breed, that you're doing something wrong? Just the fact that they can create probable cause because you have the bulldog. Remember, that's how all this journey starts. Because of the bulldog. The dog itself. They call it a welfare check. Well, I'm trying to figure out the welfare, what's the welfare check all about? You know what I mean? Is there a dog in distress? I mean, I'm always been a fan that you need more than that to just even take a look anymore, because again, them welfare checks, when you open your door to somebody don't have no reason and just to show them they're doing more than what they're supposed to be doing. Now, being I'm in construction, I'll tell you how this works. Being in construction, we have inspectors that come by, job site inspectors, they generally work for the county, the permitting department. And they come in and they got a pretty much of an idea of the rules and regulations when it comes to putting these buildings, whether I'm doing HVAC, somebody doing electrical, their standards are in place. So suppose they coming out and they're going to be doing an inspection on the AC. But in the process of them doing the inspection on the AC, they finding code violations on the electric and the plumbing and the safety issues and everything else that's going on around. But the only person on the job site that knew that I was going to be inspected was the GC, which is the general contractor, and me, the HVAC contractor. Didn't none of the other contractors know that they would be looking at other things? So, when you're not expecting things to happen, you know what I'm saying? You're not as aware of your surroundings. You know what I'm saying? Because that was something that they wasn't expected. GC knew. Most of the GCs, I would say most of them, they always have contract managers. And we always try to keep the contract managers, up on when we're having inspection, when the inspector's coming through, so that they can put out the word to everybody. But they don't put out the word to everybody, because if they did, some of them guys wouldn't be getting them, them violations. And some of them violations lead to stop work, where they shut down the whole job site. It might be an OSHA violation, but my sole purpose is they come in with one excuse, but then best believe they're looking at everything else outside of what they're really there for, and will make an issue. My problem with that whole situation is, okay, you have to be able to defend yourself from something that you weren't meant to have, that you wasn't prepared to deal with. If you don't ever want to find yourself dealing with something that you're not prepared to deal with, then I feel like it's not necessary to just open your door to them just to walk in, because once they're in, they can say whatever they want to say and give them every excuse to want to come back. And at that point, you're always going to be on the defense instead of the offense. And then what if they come in and then they do their little raid for whatever excuses they come up with, because it don't take much. Trust and believe. When they took our dogs was killed 24 hours after they were taken, to the point that where when somebody finally asked the question, well, there's no animal abuse charges, there's no charges of dogs, living in trumped up conditions. That's not in the criminal case. But that information is what bought the warrant to go in and do the damage that they did. But yet, there's no evidence of no cruelty, nothing wrong with the animals. And then how did the dogs wind up dead within 24 hours of taking them? That's destruction of evidence. You think they didn't know that? The reason they couldn't charge it wasn't due to the fact that the dogs were dead, because they would have never known that the dogs were dead until they realized, based on the pictures that they seen, everything that was supposed to be on the warrant. We went and took the dogs. We looked into the dogs. There's nothing wrong with the dogs. How do we know that? Because not only did we have our own video, all before they ran up in the house, he had just got them cleaning up the shit, feeding the dogs. And plus, when you got hours and hours of days of videos to show that, that kind of little kills the situation. The dogs didn't have water. Dogs were living in feces. All that just went straight out the door, when you have to deal with the indictment and that thing called discovery. Because Tampa police took pictures at our shit when they ran up at Mo's shit. They had took pictures of every dog, the conditions. Comes down, now putting a criminal case together, and the dog fighting because of the books and all that shit. They got dog fighting charges. None of this was in the warrant to come up in there. It was a condition of the dogs. But all of a sudden, that disappears. And now we're dealing with treadmills, medicine. See how quick all that changed? what you came up in there for, you couldn't charge because it was, if you couldn't charge on it, then that meant you didn't have the probable cause to really obtain the warrant, because what was the evidence that you used as probable cause to obtain a warrant? But when you're dealing with people with immunity, let me explain something to you. That damn immunity thing that protects them, these kind of things actually do happen. But then what's protecting you? I'm trying to discuss how to protect you. Because you could be having a conversation on the phone with somebody and they talking straight left to the right, it's still a conversation. It's when them conversations lead to something that leads to fact. See, I'm not trying to lead people astray when it comes to these dogs. This game of the American Pit Bull Terrier has been what it has been for many, many years. And if they're trying to eliminate it, forever, however they try to do that, there are really a lot of innocent people just getting caught up in some things that make you go, You think about some of the old schoolers like Floyd and Pat and Fat Bill and Crenshaw and Mau Mau, War Eagle, Harry. All these men went down. But then there's some men that was never ever caught in the pit, really never did anything but just have dogs. And had to face that situation. So I always looked at the Michael Vick situation totally different, simply because everybody thought that was supposed to be a big change. Now, we all know the story about it wasn't really Mike, it was his cousin. But you think about even how that happened. He bit the bullet. He took the time. He dealt with the responsibility. Why? Because his name was all over everything. Didn't mean, he probably didn't never even know the damn dogs was there. He probably didn't have no idea what they was doing. But because of the property and the responsibility that came with that, and what they say, ignorance is not a defense to the law. They don't care because they can use the name as leverage. But if you really think about it, how many people could he have ruined based on what he knew? Even though he bit the bullet, took the time that came with it, understanding that, Rebel Kennels, look at all the people that he took down. They're there for one thing, but, this over here, this is secondary. But this over here, it can help you over here. And all of these kind of things. Safety, for me, is the most important thing, because it's not about what you're doing and how you're doing it with the dogs. Gentlemen, it's not about that anymore. It's about eradication of the dogs, period. Because if a CH and the GR in front of the dog's name makes you a dog fighter, then we're going to be all considered dog fighters regardless of what the situation is, for long as the situation goes. Even when it comes down to a grand champion wall climber or grand champion treadmill runner, does them titles, need to be carried over to where we actually have them kind of dogs, to where we can switch this around a little bit because I think the GR and the champions and the POR of the past is what can hurt a lot of you guys in the now. Even though we don't know no wins, no where, no how, don't know who, but because you have that on your papers, or you're advertising your dog like that, and keep in mind, if it's Grand Champion Mayday, that's he's got over 1,500 goddamn offspring, or Frisco, or I think it's Grand Champion LT Dre, Grand Champion NASCAR. Remember, look at the names, and you find that in my papers, and all of a sudden I'm looking at owning pit bulls for the purpose of dogfighting. Yes, this is where we're at nowadays, gentlemen. This is where you at. Now, I don't know how that actually works in court, because again, to me, I'm not trying to be a lawyer to you guys. I'm actually trying to advocate the things that, if you sit back and just don't say nothing, you're going to see a whole lot more of this happening. Whole lot more. And it is a very stressful issue, especially when I see people doing 470 something years. But then I sit there and I watch some of these TV shows where murderers 20, 25 years, or the dogs is pulling more time than a person who kills a family of 6. That holds weight when you're trying to understand how and why. You can go to jail for not even being caught at a dog fight. You can go to jail for not even having anything to do with the world of dog fighting. Only thing that you have is a wanting and willingness to want to raise and produce the American Pit Bull Terrier the same way it has been produced over all these years. Because we know what we would consider a good dog. If I wanted to have a real nice car back in the day, I had a choice between, and my parent, being my dad worked for Firestone, we dealing with General Motors, and he was a General Motors man. He was a 9.8. He wasn't a Cadillac man. That was my stepdad. He was a 9.8. Every car, as long as I can remember. Keep it 2 years, he went and bought another. He was a 9.8 man. But then my real dad, he was a Cadillac man. Now, everybody really know a 9.8 and a Cadillac it's not, they was damn near the Coupe de Ville and all them other ones and the Sedan de Villes. They was almost like the same car, except for you change the name around a little bit. Add a little couple extra features over here on the Cadillac, but that 9.8, it was still, they ran hand in hand. And being I had access to both the cars, I kind of figured that out. Daddy paid a whole lot more for that Cadillac than Daddy did with the 9.8. But when you get down under that hood and you start messing around, they basically was the same cars. You know what I mean? So understanding the Bulldog is almost like the real shit over here, the Cadillac version, and then this other version that is basically the same thing over here, but in order for the unit to be listed over here, it's got to be missing something here. You see, it's that missing something that we haven't gotten to yet, because we're still living off what the reality of the real Bulldog is. And this is innocent as hell, because this is the history. This is that part that they're trying to eradicate when it's hard to make, 100 years of 100 plus years of Bulldogging is hard to just make it disappear. It is. Especially when they're in your average home. They're everywhere you look. They're everywhere you look. And if you have a pit bull, does that automatically make you a dog fighter? I see so many innocent people who have these dogs, love these dogs. But at what point does it not become a crime for having a dog? We think simplicity could guard us, because we're always yelling about the Constitution. If you can drive your car, or you can stand out on the street with a camera and police can run up on you and detain you because you look suspicious. I feel sorry for any brother just walking down the street with his pit bull, not bothering nobody, and being detained because of that pit bull. Because just the same as they could call you looking suspicious for having the camera taking pictures, they can run you to the same old headache because of that pit bull. Now, how many of you guys who when you get your dog registered, the dog has the tag, he got his registration tag on his collar? Probably be like most people, we get them registered and we just put all the tags in one place and keep up with them. They want to know if I got to fight the fact whether the dog is registered or not. Okay, then at least I have a tag. I got something to fight with. But that don't work when you're on the street walking with a pit bull and he do not have that on his neck. That right there would lead to all kinds of shit coming to you. How many dogs you got? Got 4, 5 dogs, and all of a sudden they're on your yard, and then you want to make sure everybody registered. Then went down, checked the registration. Yep, he got 5, 6 dogs registered down here. Next thing you know, they're at your house. All because of that one dog that you was walking down the street with that didn't have the registration on the collar. This is what this game has become. And then when you got that kind of hectic shit going on, you got dogs being sold just all over the country. Dogs, people, taking people's money, dogs not showing up, dogs not bred the way they're supposed to. I mean, all the headaches, to where we even at a point now that we don't even know if a dog is bred like they say it's bred. It's funny when I heard somebody say that they had sperm on Jeep. Now, I've been in the game, long time. And that's a good one. Because I just never knew that they ever had sperm on Jeep. It was just like when people was trying to tell us that they had sperm on Mayday. I mean, people, look at that situation. 1,500 offspring. But if I tell you that, hey, y'all, from a good source, and I know the man who actually owned Mayday, I know that they didn't ever have any straws off Mayday. I know the backstory about, him being at the university. They was really trying to do something to fix the issue. If you got a dog that, ain't producing no more, and then all of a sudden, this dog got 1,500 offspring, that should automatically tell you something, right? The years that pass make people forget, because I always say, you know what, fellas? Maybe all that shit probably would have worked if all of us was dead and gone, but not all of us is dead and gone. Some of us really know the backstory, some stories that people are, everybody got their little stories, but there's people that really know the real deal. Yeah. Like the whole AAA and the Sundance thing. Like, there's people who really know the real deal. My thing is, in these times, in these days, and you're seeing how this thing is going down, regardless of how much that you see as far as these crazy years and these crazy indictments, and the one guy who had the medicine and just was just a good guy that had dogs. And the only reason he was that, he's even being messed with because of a pedigree. That is a very, very serious charge, man. And I haven't really seen any real good pit bull lawyers yet. So I'm confident that I would, sit back and tell you guys that, they're out there, because they're not. Nobody's going, the weight of the dog is just like when they killed our dogs. You would have thought that should have been destruction of evidence, a whole bunch of shit. But it was almost looked over as if we can't charge him because it wasn't. But due to the immunity aspect of the case, there's enough probable cause without that to do this. Well, you wouldn't have never got that if this had been right in the first place. So what happened to, without the probable cause, you didn't have the right to do whatever you did. Everything's supposed to go out the door. Nope, here in the state of Florida, there is a loophole. And the loophole that the prosecution used in our case had to be the treadmills, the breaking sticks, and the books. 3 things. Now, hear this, 3 things. Now, remember the medicine, the books, the breaking stick, all that stuff together. That is what led to the dog fighting, promoting dog fight, all that other shit. But you remember when we was telling y'all about the books? The books by itself is just a book. The book was like a movie. The book was like any other book. It's protected. So you would think, I'm not a lawyer. I'm pretty sure the judge knows this. I'm pretty sure the prosecution knows this. But unless you don't, if you ain't saying nothing, they just keep acting. They'll just act like you don't know. And that's why I try to get you guys to understand when we talk about the past and we tell the horror stories, take heed, because this is something that we just don't need nobody to tell us. These are things that we actually had to deal with. These are things that, to protect yourself while we speak about these cameras. While we speak, no, you hold them off. It's got to be more than just welfare checking to walk on my yard. You know, and I'm not trying to tell you how to beat the law. I'm trying to tell you how to protect yourself. Because when the time comes that a treadmill, which we did have a treadmill, imagine they couldn't use the books because you don't have anybody to sit here and testify that there's anything in that book that can be verified by anybody, somebody. We don't know none of the names. We don't even know the when, the where, the what's. I mean, it's what it is. It's a publication. But even with all of that, do you know this person still found it in themselves to try to use something that had already been ruled on? Already ruled on prior to a jury. That had the nerve to show up with a prosecutor and try to use it in front of a jury. That if it don't be for Your Honor, I object. This has been ruled on. Yet he's sitting there on the stand with something that you've already ruled on. And he told him, no. Why is that book up here? Because I was going to use it as reference. The judge let him know, no, I done ruled on that already. I don't even want it up here. Because, you know, at that point in time, they're still trying to find shit to stick because now we got to work on it. Remember the big chest opener, veterinarian and testify, y'all, it's a big chest opener. And all the damn clamp was a clamp to cut a dog's ears with. And this is going on in front of a jury. Simple things like part of us sitting up here, you know, defending ourselves, you got to sit back and watch the bullshit that goes with them, all the way down to the medicine, the treadmills, the clamps for the ears, the breaking sticks. All these things was actually with numerous charges of them. You know, because they charge each individual dog that's dead by this time. But these charges are still running. That they would use those type of things to try to get a conviction on something that they really didn't have no evidence of, because by that time we had already been out of dogs. We just owned dogs. Remember, we didn't sell dogs. Mo just loved his dogs. It was 10 of them. Now, keep in mind, there was a time when you had a lot of dogs, but they never could get on the yard. Think about that. We had all them dogs, all the times that they used to pull up to that fence with their welfare checking and all that other bullshit. They never ever could step on that yard. They couldn't pick up over no fence because the yard was so big, you know, you can't go peeping over no fences and all that other shit that they try to get away with and talk about what they see. But if you took all that away from them, you made the situation hard because, again, they want you to roll over. They want you to bow down to a situation that where if you're not really doing anything, you shouldn't have to fight that hard, but that's not true. Because how many of them people in that jury that my brother had understood any damn thing that they was trying to associate to dogfight? The treadmill, I guess that, I mean, when I see it now, it's almost like if you have a pit bull and you got a treadmill, that automatically makes you a dog fighter. How does a man that never ever climbed in the pit, never did anything except for raise pit bulls, maybe 5 or 6 of them, and find himself with a dogfighting case? Now, 190 dogs, okay. You don't hear me in the mall camp situation. You don't hear me knocking. Why you need 190 dogs? Well, for me, should it matter how many dogs a person have? If he had 230 dogs, does that make them a dog fighter? Does that make them selling a dog for the purpose of dog fighting? You know, Tom Garner is the most successful breeder to me, you know, in history when it comes down to longevity and marketing his dogs. He has done it for many, many years and have sold dogs all over the world. Even been busted for dog fighting because of the dogs. My thing is, how do you know why this person can do it, but this person can't? Is it the money? Is it the fact that you have dogs and we just gonna throw it and see what stick? Like the old man, I think I forget, he had 20-some years and they broke it down. I think he ended up having to do 5 years. The old guy, the Triple J was how about, I can't think of his name, but even that man got time. In 5 years. You know. No. The old man, they tried to say because he had the hammer on the doghouse, you know, where he must have been built, that the way the news had it, like he would be beating the dogs with the hammer type of shit. I mean, the way they play it up. And then, you know, the one guy with all the chains and all the collars. But if it's certain places, if you're allowed to have dogs on chains, why would the weight of the chain even matter? But you see how they threw all the chains and all the collars, and that was supposed to be some kind of big ass deal. Oh yeah, we went through that whole situation. You know. But these are the things I'm trying to get you guys to understand when it comes down to our take on the things that y'all see today. It didn't just start today. And to think that the feds, that you think just because they're involved, that all of a sudden you done, like they don't come unless they got your ass. I ain't gonna say all that. Cause I done seen them come and I know they didn't have nothing. Literally nothing. I mean, just the fact that you would even run up in my mama's house. You know what I mean? I know you ain't nowhere in the hell. My mama house? See, we done been through all these scenarios, man. So we ain't just sitting here just talking just for the hell of it. The things that we have been through. But never giving in. Always keeping up a good fight. Yeah, my brother got 2 years, y'all, for a bottle of store where it was 10 years old and a bag of weed. And that thing that we see on TV with dogs doing the DMX, you know, the barking thing, and a baiting charge. 2 years. And in the same token, I know a person who got caught selling 3 times to an undercover, and they got 2 years. No, a couple people. Dad, cases. They get 2 years, and he get 2 years for a bag of weed and a baiting charge and some steroids. Expired. I mean, they was old. Steroids was. But point of the matter is, this is going to be a storyline that is going to explode when you start seeing people, 190 dogs, Royal Bull situation, Triple J situation, the Mal Kant situation, you know, some of these other stories that I've been seeing. Man, you don't understand the seriousness. I mean, even Buck City, I got to put him in there because he was a prime example of when they come, you know, how big is the fight gonna be? I'm only telling y'all from our standpoint because we not just talk. We've had to deal with the fight, not just the dogs, a couple other things, and that's why we talk about, you know. Sometimes you got to be careful about the people that you're associating yourself with. Because sometimes they might not even be even looking at you. They're looking at something that somebody else is doing and something you don't have no idea what they're doing. But the only conversation they got you on is that person wanted to buy a bulldog from me and you just happen to be on the phone. That's it. And all of a sudden, you caught up in a case, a federal case. This shit happens. This shit is real. Now, knowing that, and then you got people out there stealing, lying to you, taking your money. And at what point do you try to rumble through all the bullshit to realize I don't know what's real and what ain't no more? Who bulldogging and who really bullshit? See, I think anybody's allowed to have a bulldog. That is our God-given right. To have a damn bulldog. It is my God-given right to have a damn treadmill. I mean, I don't get into what people do with their animal. This is not about what people do with your animal. This is all about you protecting yourself because of your rights to have this particular animal. Law states that they can't get particular and go after that breed. No, you got to include, you know, make it more included. You know, when they try to ban pit bulls, you know, yeah, you can have any dog but a pit bull in Miami-Dade County. Wait a minute. When did the law start saying doing that? Nope, so we got to go back and fix that. Look how many people went through all the bullshit because you had a dog. Something that they pulled, would have got away with if somebody didn't pull together and say something. Because look at all the people that got in trouble because they had a dog in Dade County. That's how Champion Twister got taken, put down. Because you can't have a dog in Dade County and then to come back and be like that whole law it wasn't enforceable because the law states you can't take a particular breed and single them out like that. Okay, damage is already done. You see where I'm coming from with this. Damage was already done. Twisted gone. Look at all them great dogs is gone. Pat know how that feel. Patrick knew exactly how that felt. So did Floyd. I'm pretty sure them boys over old Walker Mall went through the same situation. I already know how my brother felt. He was more concerned about losing his dogs. That was like family. That was like, and for what? And then have to go through all the dumb shit that came behind it and everything, they did more things wrong, but then they always find themselves operating under the immunity clause. But how does that protect you, the person? See, my thing is, forget about what everybody does. Let's take what we did in our past. We can't go back there. Remember, everybody knows about the damn history of the American Pit Bull Terrier, and if you don't, there's enough dog channels out here that can sit back there and talk about the history of these dogs. That history is what made them what they are. But I don't feel that you should be having to worry about going to jail because that dog has a title. You don't know nothing about nothing, but you know that dog got a title and that dog is in your papers. I just want that blood. There's no reason why you shouldn't be able to have that blood. You might not even know if the CH or the GR is even true. Who, where, when. You don't know nothing about it. If they say it's GR, then that's what it is. If say it's CH, that's what it is. I mean, come on. We know you. I mean, come on. Like the Jeep blood. Like the Jeep sperm. Got a daughter off a Jeep. How you got a daughter off a Jeep in 2024? How's that possible? Semen. Oh my God, no, you didn't. Yeah, I told him. I just told him. I said, man, they have 1,500 damn offsprings, and y'all believe that shit? That he had 1,500 offsprings, knowing what we know, and we know the damn man who had him. We know the issues. But guess what? One of them situations where you think about what's Mayday dog did you really think you were buying out here? How many people really believed that Mayday had sperm? I mean, many years y'all been operating under those pretenses, knowing that you go and look and you see these have 1,500 offsprings. And that never really dawned on anybody. You know. Now I give Tom a break because I've been to Tom's house. If he say he got sperm off of Spike, there's no reason why I would doubt it. The man got the whole goddamn, the whole lab, the whole setup. He can pull sperm, he got a place where he keeps sperm, he got record books, all that shit. You know, he's legendary and he's had longevity doing it. My thing is, even under them circumstances, I still see grand champion NASCAR. I see talk about champion LT Dre, I think I'm saying his name right. And this is what you're promoting. He didn't make him champion. But does that make it illegal for him to sell you puppies off this champion or grand champion? Is that supposed to be illegal? Because what I'm starting to see, fellas, yeah. And that right there makes this a very scary game, especially if you're out here buying dogs and they out here pushing that around. You know, everybody be talking about papers papers don't mean nothing. I see why you say papers don't mean nothing. But that, I would think that would be more scarier because you don't know what you buying. You know, seeing is believing for me. You know, always been one that, we try to always see for ourselves what we, and then work from there. See, never working off the word of anybody. But we all know there's a lot of us, we can't really get to certain places. You can't go down and go pick up a dog. You can't really know if that's the dog that you picked. These are things that has always been a part of the, dealing with any type of business. My thing is for us to understand that over here, we even though we do talk about the history, things of the past, dealing with this, whether like city, state, or federal, when it came to dogs, the game has always been the same. I mean, people have lost yards, bloodlines just straight taken and killed for just what? And then, like Floyd, all them great dogs, and the dogs wasn't worth $25,000. How did that work? Yeah, $1,500 at the most. And if they take them and they hold them, and like in our case, if they had held them dogs 3 years to the trial was over, knowing that the dogs was taken based on a lie anyway, if you had really just kept them alive and actually used them as evidence 3 years later, would you have really tried to hand us a damn stupid ass bill? $300,000 because y'all took the dogs illegally. Y'all was forced to take care of them because the court said you can't kill them, but then you gonna hand me a bill? Because that's what they did to Walk'em. That's exactly what they did to Walk'em. Who is going to pay $200 and some thousand for something that y'all did? Now, yeah, it might be illegal, but hell, you just got done beating one case. And like in Floyd's situation, you killed over 20-some dogs. And for doing that injustice, them dogs to y'all was no more than $1,500. That's it? You know what I mean? Kill a whole bloodline off. Now, I ain't trying to be a conspiracy theorist in this, but I'm just telling you, man, be careful. Not just of the law, but the people that you're dealing with, because you can get caught up just based on association. And we know there's a whole lot of male cant dogs out here floating around. And as long as I've been knowing and hearing about male cant, I ain't never known male cant to be a dog fighter. I've always known him to be a breeder. Now, how he go from breeding dogs for the purpose of dog fighting, that's a whole new case that they, putting it out there because the champions and the grand champions, but I mean, I don't understand how that part of the law works because I didn't make him a grand champion. Hell, he might not even be a grand champion, but that's what the papers say. He's a grand champion. He's a grand champion. Grand champion of what? I don't know. It's part of the name. Well, we're here in the dog world. Grand champion means he's won fight. Well, then, okay, so what did that have to do with me? Don't know who, don't know when, don't know where. So what the hell that got to do with me? To me, you would think that would be just a simple answer to their problem. Oh my God. They be just, I tell you, they got a whole archive of shit that they throwing at you. My thing to y'all is, okay, look, if y'all see this kind of shit going on, and I'm hoping that as a community, and hear it coming out of my mouth, because I'm the one who pushed for, hey y'all, I know y'all don't like those old school people because you always talk about what we this, what we that, but guess what? We survived it. There was a lot of fallen soldiers along the way. But in the same token, we accept our responsibilities for our own actions. We just can live to talk about it. But moving forward, the CHs and the GRs and the PORs and the ROMs, if that shit is leading to cases that's undefendable, then y'all need to be real careful even when you start going out here weight pulling and running up walls, because if you give a dog a title, you got to distinguish, no, he's a grand champion weight puller. No, he's not a grand champion fighter. How do you prove that? My thing is, without the weight pulling competitions or anything to stand up for, that's a sorry defense. But how you gonna charge me based on if they say he's a grand champion? That's what it is. Part of the dog's title. Not because I'm selling puppies off that dog. I mean, I'm selling the puppies for the purpose of dog fighting. How do you prove that? Because of the grand champion on that dog's name. Well, man, how far back we going with this? Think about all the guys who's out there selling dogs right now with these champions bred, the 2 grand champions bred, first time ever done. Think about some of the stories you done heard. Champion this, all that. Are they going to go around and start locking people up for them titles? Even if they're a lie. Because you don't really know. If you wasn't there, how would you know? You can't answer to nothing that you ain't never seen. That's the whole point about be trying to be, believe in what you see. Stop believing in what you hear. When you see it for yourself, you got a better chance of dealing with a situation compared to dealing with something that you done heard. Because y'all should be living in a time of believing what you're seeing. And stop paying attention to believing in what you hear. Because you believing what you hear is what's going to get you messed up. Believing what you're seeing, you got a better way of controlling and handling the situation you might find yourself in. You went down there, I bought the dog. So-and-so sold you that dog for the purpose of dog fight. Never had a discussion. But then there's some people who sit there and have this discussion. Openly. Y'all see it on Facebook. Openly. Like it's all okay. That part don't make sense for me because, again, what goes on in the basement, stay in the basement. If you foolish enough to be one of them out here running your mouth, don't know nothing about the dog, ain't never seen the dog, but yet you got a lot of conversation and you're talking about somebody else's business, they don't have to go find that person who owned the dog. All they got to do is go find you. Well, you stated this and you stated that. Now you're putting charges on your head because you're promoting dog fighting because they have you on a conversation with this person discussing it. And there used to be talking about it couldn't get you in trouble. Now talking about it can get you in trouble. Cause conspiracy. RICO. See where I'm going with this? When feds came in, they added this new thing that seemed to work on drug dealers too. that the conversation alone can have you dealing with a charge worse than dogfighting, and that is conspiracy to commit the act. A group of one or more people. That's simple, gentlemen. So if you try to get me where I'm coming from, what I'm trying to let y'all know is lying, cheating, and stealing is three of the worst things that could happen to anybody, for me. And to me, it's not worth it. You got to lie and steal or cheat a person. Especially in this game. That's why I feel sorry for the man who bought the dog and didn't get the dog. Or the man who spent money on a dog and when he got the dog, it wasn't the dog that he spent the money on. Or breeding to a dog that then produced 1,500 damn dogs, but yet you believe you got that last 1,537 dog. See, my thing is, like in the beginning of the show, and it says, we have lost the integrity of the game. We have. And I will be completely fine and all right with whatever happens to these dogs moving forward, even if it's in a good light. But that's not their thing. They're not. It's not about the good light. It's about the eradication of the breed. Why? Because it came in wrong. It was all right back then, but it ain't all right now. And as long as it ain't all right now, we're going to have problems. And I just want you guys to take heed to this conversation because it's happening more and more. And y'all know the backstories on some of these stories. Some of these people been good people, like just, you know, I think the one guy, they found the man, the name was on the pedigree, and that led them to his house, and because he had medicine and a treadmill, all of a sudden he's a dog fighter. And in his case, I don't think it was any drugs involved. But he's got a dog fighting charge. Don't know how that case turned out or what's going to happen. But I be feeling sorry for people like that because I know what it looks like to be facing, 20, 30 years when I sit there and watch my brother get a damn plea deal for 20 years. A plea deal for 20 years. You take it to trial, you're going to get 30. But he going to take a plea for 20? Just to save 10? Come on, man. That don't sound crazy to you? At 50-something years old, you're going to plead out to 20 years for something that you know damn well you wasn't doing. That was just too much, man. It was too much. He didn't have no choice but to fight. 5, 6 lawyers later, to still have to go pro se. I'm not asking nobody to take the chance. I'm just saying, when you find yourself in a situation like that, and I be feeling sorry for the people who get caught up. I mean, it's not about what PBK does, because hell, the news story was out there. I know he wasn't out there with the news camera. He wasn't out there doing none of that shit. It's just not about him. To me, it's about Maul Kant. And after all these years, why now? That man been in that nice, quiet community, 190 dogs, and and from what you hear, you take 190 dogs and ain't nobody making no noise complaints. Ain't nobody screaming about smelling shit. Dogs breaking loose, terrorizing the neighborhood. You don't hear none of that shit? After all these years. But now all of a sudden he has become a person that sells dogs for the purpose of dog fighting. And look, gentlemen, me personally, even though we don't sell dogs and it's not something we ever really ever advertised as selling a dog, so it was something we never was worried about. In order to ever get a dog for us, you had to know us, and we knew that whoever got those dogs, they was going to be and a person who was going to take care of the dog and be responsible for those dogs. When we talk about responsibility of the dog, it's not a matter of what they do or how they do it or what they're doing with it. Because if you're selling it to them and it's not about the money, it's about the love of the dog, then you trust and believe that regardless of what they do, they're going to always take the dog first. Now, y'all know what our history was like. But we took care of the dogs. Never had animal abuse, no dogs starving, no shit all over the yard. Ain't nobody showed up with all this bullshit. There has yet to been one picture produced with a going hard dog that looked it bad. Not a one. But did that stop the case? No, it was 10 dogs wound up there and you were still looking at 30 years. So I look at that whole Jamal Kant situation as a reminder to me how about something that a person has been doing for so long, and I've never known him to be a dog fighter. And just because them dogs have Champion and GR in front of them names, he didn't make them that. He didn't name them that. It was just good dogs, good blood, and he was enthusiastic to put his mark on what he felt a good dog was supposed to be. Ain't that why we stick to the GR and the CHs and the ROMs? We don't know who, what, when, or where. But you have an idea of the history of the dogs. You kind of know why you like what you like. And the title should not make you a dog fighter. Just like owning a pit bull does not automatically make you a dog fighter. Just like owning a treadmill does not automatically make you a dog fighter. Or even walking down the street with a damn breaking stick in my back pocket does not make me a dog fighter. When are you bulldogging is when you are the responsible person doing the right things with a bulldog. And y'all hear me say responsible. What do I mean by responsible? You know, to me, it's not a matter of what you're doing, how you're doing it. I mean, it doesn't. Because I know a lot of, you know, bulldog men over many, many years who you never seen shit on the yard. You never seen a sick, unhealthy dog on the yard. Never. It had a whole bunch of champions and grand champions sitting out there, but you couldn't look out there and tell because they had the responsibility and the love of the dog. Like, I think it's crazy to have a dog on Facebook that's a black dog and he's all marked up. Black, this looks bad. But it's the look. And because that dog looks like that, you're automatically a dog fighter. Well, I bought the dog like that. Okay. And here's the other thing I wanted to jump on. I can't remember what it is, but the new DNA testing thing that they got going on, that they done hooked up with the Department of Agriculture, and now they got the DNA thing. They doing the DNA profile on dogs like they do on human beings. They building a database, y'all. Now, in order to have this database to become successful, they have to have individuals, like, for the human beings, every time, for us, every time you get arrested or something, they swabbing you. And the minute that they swab you, you become a part of that database. If you ever get caught, they take your dogs or do whatever they, for the purpose of dog fighting. Remember, just because they say that your dogs is being taken and you being charged, you're still supposed to be innocent until proven guilty. But because of that charge, they going to swap all your dogs, and whether or not you become innocent or not, your dogs were going to be a part of that database. Now, they're taking that DNA database, and let me tell you how they're using it, y'all. This database is going to be so big, so imagine they go hit your yard. Dog got some marks on them. Well, they can take those marks and examine them, and they can just, do their little swab thing, and then they can measure it up and say, yeah, that dog, DNA is in the system. Oh, that's like being on the no-fly list. Once you're in the system, they can use and abuse you. That's my point. How crazy do we actually have a dog DNA, you see where I'm going with this, man? It's bad enough they can just go throw anything against the wall. But DNA don't even work right when it comes to human beings at times. Do you know how many pathologists or, that has to examine? You got one over here working for the defense, and then you got one over here working for the prosecutor. Have y'all ever known them to agree? I've seen enough court cases that he's working for the prosecution and he's working for the defense, and of course they're not going to agree. But you got 12 people that's supposed to be smarter than both of them, and y'all gambling with a person's life where they got to make a choice between these two? See, we've had a jury. I've seen how juries work. I've seen how they work. I can't sit here and tell you why all the people in the jury felt like they didn't have a case, because Mo never put up a defense. After the prosecution did what they did, he rested. What was it about their prosecution that he didn't have to put up a defense? You know what it was, fellas? The lies. The lies. It's a different story, when you just talking. When you trying to be intelligent. You're trying to make everything sound professional because you the police. Or you the dog catcher man. Or you, whoever the hell you think you are, with some type of authority. They're supposed to automatically believe you. But because of immunity clauses, you can sit there and lie and get caught lying, perjured yourself, and the jury believe the defendant that didn't even have a defense, and he wasn't even a lawyer, because you lie so damn much. But yet, he was facing 30 and you didn't get anything. See, that right there is where y'all got to realize that's a problem. That there is a problem. So keep in mind, when we tell y'all be off them damn cameras, we be meaning it. When we tell y'all every time that, you know, they want to show their face, get your camera. Because they can say their camera's on, but hell, their camera and my camera, when it all comes down to it, they supposed to see the same thing. The same thing your camera showed that day, my camera's supposed to look the same way. Because see, you can take your camera, you can edit your camera, you can take out shit. They do that because in our case, in most trial, they had dog pictures of dogs that wasn't even on the yard. This is how bad it got. Tried to sneak in some pictures of some dogs that we didn't have. I don't know who them dogs is. But wait a minute. Where the pictures at that the people took when they came and took the dogs? Okay. I see all the dogs, but so where did that dog come from? How come this dog was not in the package of discovery, but this dog picture showed up at the trial? How did it even get in, Your Honor? Yeah, how did that get in? Because they moseying in on the lawn. And should he had to have to say something when it came to that, they should already knew better. But this is how far they go. And I'm trying to tell you based on experience. I know what I seen. I know how that trial went. I seen it for myself. I already know how the feds work. I mean, how bad am I doing? What am I doing that you got to kick in my mama's door? My mama house? My mama? Is y'all trying to get my attention or Mo's attention that you going to, because if you paying attention to anything we doing, the last place that you would be is at my mama house. No, I didn't understand that, but I didn't understand how they work. Oh, a mistake? No, it wasn't a mistake. It couldn't have been a mistake. That's just how they do shit. They ain't never played fair. Look at you too, man. There's enough of police misconduct all the time on there. All the time. And it happens more and more and more because social media shows you how much it happens. It's happening right now in this dog game when it comes to these American Pit Bull Terriers because they're not just trying to, get the dog fighters. No, they're not just trying to get the dog fighters. They're just trying to say we don't have to worry about dog fighting if we just eradicate the breed. Okay, that makes sense. But is it legal? And at what expense do we have to go to? This is that fear factor. It ain't worth having the dogs. For all the ones who now sit back and know it ain't worth it, I'm going to go get me a French poodle or something. That right there is what they want you to do. They want the average person who have this little puppy, these little pet bulls out here, just take a second look at the dog they love so much and be running to go give it to the pound because they don't want to deal with the headaches that has come with the laws that gives everybody in the world of shit simply because I got a dog. I got 2 dogs. I got 3, 4 dogs. I got 4, 5 dogs because I just had a litter. They about 4, 5 months old. I mean, does that make me a dog fighter? You know, and then if I go sell somebody one of these dogs, and they go 3 years later, and all of a sudden that dog gets, caught up in a dog fight because you done sold it to somebody, and all of a sudden they got the DNA on the dog, and all of a sudden you back at my door talking about a dog that was bred 3 years ago, just in our dog fighting archive, and we need to be, that's probable cause to go on your yard, basically. See what you're doing. Run through your house, run through your computers, run through your cell phone, run through your records, disrupt your house. And then you ask yourself, is it worth all that? Look, man, we were always dealt under them kind of circumstances. For us, back in the day, I lived in a time when it was a misdemeanor. And nobody seemed to care. 20-something years later, I'm looking at this crazy shit now, and I'm all of a sudden, I got a whole bunch of goody two-shoes going on out here, but guess what? It's not stopping you from selling these dogs, but there's the problem. How are you going to prevent the person that you selling the dog to, what kind of place you got, how does that work? If I'm going to go buy a dog from somebody, I got to sign a piece of paper. That don't work. They even tell us, we got a YouTube channel. They say we be trying to disguise dog fighting, and that disclaimer is just something that we use to hide what we doing. Yeah, I heard that one too. But you ever go to the movie and y'all see them talk about the people that's in this movie aren't not the people they just using the name? That's a disclaimer. Is that supposed to take away the legitimacy of what they're trying to say in the movie? The names have been changed to protect the innocent type of. Is that supposed to lighten the effect of the movie? Because our disclaimer here is not to distract you from what we're going to be talking about. That disclaimer is there to disclaim the purpose of this conversation, the purpose of this channel. In no way, shape, or form are we trying to break any laws. City, state, federal, or government, anything pertaining to the Animal Welfare Act of 1976 or 78, whichever one it was. I say 76. You know what I mean? This channel is strictly for the purpose of entertainment, history, knowledge, educational, fictional. Can't tell you when, where, and who. Nothing is supposed to be considered as breaking the law. That's all that disclaimer is going to do. It's not trying to use it to protect us from a damn thing, because this what we doing here is called freedom of speech. I've seen people on here on these channels talk about far much worse. So I mean, I live in the United States of America. At no point in time am I supposed to be walking around fearing my government. And as a black man, and I say that cold-heartedly because the way I look. Forget about the white side of the family. They don't. When they look at me, they don't see that part. So I'm gonna just keep it like it is. You know what I'm saying? Because of what I look like. Now, because I look like that, I look like what I look like, and I got a pit bull, and I got the pit bull out in the front yard running on the treadmill in my all-white neighborhood. How many times you think the police gonna run to my house? I got a little Doodle and a pit bull. I think I could put Lily on that treadmill and run her every day on that treadmill with her little bitty 20-pound little bitty dog. She might not even be 20 pounds. And I guarantee you, wouldn't one police officer show up at all with that little bitty dog running on that treadmill. But the minute I put that same pit bull on that treadmill, I'm going to have them all over my house. And I don't understand why. You want to do a welfare check on the pit bull, but you don't want to do a welfare check on my little Doodle, this little 17, 18-pound dog? See where I'm going with this conversation? It ain't going to be just McCullough, because if it was all about McCullough, they'd have called him because I had my little dog on the treadmill. But because of McCullough and the dog is on the treadmill in my neighborhood, oh yeah. Thing is, they had to get used to mine because I let mine, I walk mine in the neighborhood. I get to the point where I walk mine without a leash. Even though they supposed to have a leash law. But even me, she got that collar on. And she's always under control. And I can prove it. It's an invisible leash. But I say this because I push those boundaries. I don't want my neighbors acting like they hear dogs barking and all of a sudden, I want you to know what kind of dog I got. Just in case you know how to walk around my house. Don't be peeping over my fence. But, don't go touring through the backyard trying to see what's going on in the backyard because you never know what's going to be out there waiting on you. I prefer you come by and knock on the door and introduce yourself than to sit back way across the street and be calling the police, talk about you got a dog running on a treadmill in his front yard. Well, if you wanted to know why the dog run on the treadmill and why I do it in the front yard, because it's my front yard and I have a right to do what the hell I want on my yard. How about that? And just because you call the police ain't gonna change nothing. Because I'm gonna give them the blues just like I'm giving you the blues. Because these things happen, man. And I just don't want to see people getting caught up in the conversations that we have in this show don't have nothing to do with what y'all doing in the future. Because what y'all doing moving forward, y'all got a lot of work to do. You got a lot of work to do. Because we're not living in the past anymore. Remember, the past only works for those who try to utilize it in that type of manner. Remember, I've been telling y'all, the name's going to have to change because we still talking about Red Boy Jeep, Mayday, Yellow, Termite. I mean, y'all know the list. Come on. Look how long these dogs been dead. But these same dogs is so important in these pedigrees because we got to go back, find out, they come down off of, well, yeah, they're supposed to be good blood. That's the only way we're going to be able to tell. These are selling points. But because even though you're using them for selling points, does that make you guilty of doing something that you know damn well you ain't doing? My thing is, hey, you don't want to be caught into that in that realm, then I would suggest this is the time to actually stop and think about, what you're doing and how you're doing it. And is that lie worth, is it worth putting yourself in a world of shit? Because you shouldn't have to lie to sell shit. If you believe in these dogs and believe in what you're doing and you believe this is your right to do as you choose to do, you can be no different than Tom Garner. You should be able to sell your dogs all over the world if you choose to do so, regardless of what title it's got on his name, because you not doing shit. You don't know what they doing with them dogs when they take them somewhere. Remember, this way overseas. I mean, I've never heard of Tom being accused of supplying all the fighting dogs in Europe. I've never heard that. I have never heard that they sent a secret indictment to the United States to have Tom or anybody else arrested due to the dogs that they be selling across the sea. I'm just wondering, at what point? I mean, to me, the real bulldog is, man, the real bulldog, he's not gonna break to conform to the bullshit. When I be looking at bulldogging, we don't conform to shit. We stick to our guns. That's all about bulldogging. We stick to our guns. Weights, timing, everything. You just, I know how them guys felt when you have something that you appreciate so much and it's yours. The love of the dog, man, you have to love these dogs. To be people like the Kobe's, the Tudors, the Heinzels, the Leitners, the Arquettes, and the Twins, and the Mamas. I mean, these people love these dogs. I can tell you that. Anytime you got 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years for some who great-grandfathers and grandfathers and fathers and then now sons, years of breeding these dogs that they got their name on them because they have been able to produce dogs that are worthy of talking about. It's theirs. Why wouldn't they respect their work? Purpose has to change. Purpose going to change. But that is based on what the community decide to do it. If it's up to the law, they're going to eradicate them. Because you don't have to worry about dog fighting if there's no more dogs to fight. Maybe that's why it's been going on so long. You ever thought about that? Maybe, it used to be above ground sports. Remember, we told y'all about the Madison Square Garden. They used to have big shows, Louisiana, Texas. I mean, everybody show up, shirt tied up, and everything. Doctors, lawyers, professional people of all shapes, forms, nationalities, all over the world. And for the people who don't know no better, that's cruel, it's all that. Yeah. There's politicians too. Remember, one was the goddamn mayor of the damn city. Come on. What you trying to say to me? One was the damn chief of police from the damn city. You'll read stories of when, everybody know show gonna be in town, let everybody, we don't want no guns and nothing showing up. Police let them know we know y'all over there, but the whole rundown. Just like bootlegging, just like the drug game, just like everything else that was illegal. UFC used to be illegal. Street fights, my boy over here, 1500, he knocked your boy out. I mean, this shit, we call that the underground. And what goes on in the underground is supposed to stay in the underground. That's why it's the underground. Not promoting the underground. The underground is something like Skull and Bones. It's there, but you don't know if it's really there. Oh, we heard about it, but we don't know nothing about it. It don't exist. It's a fairy tale. Because that's what dogfighting really was. That's what it really was. It's supposed to be underground. Only way you're supposed to know is you're supposed to be in the know. just like anything else that they put that illegal tag on. We got how many years and how many drug czars have we had? And we done went from marijuana, from heroin, to cocaine, to ice, to methamphetamines. Right? But ain't nobody dealing with the biggest dope dealer in that this country has ever seen, and that's the doctors with the opioids. You know, think about them. Them the biggest drug dealers of all time, as far as I've seen. You know, and this is why I'm always skeptical about taking pills. You know, I mean, I'm way beyond skeptical because I don't take them. You know, they have to remind me I need my cholesterol pills. I need to take my high blood pressure pills. You know, but every time I think about, you know, the shit that I've seen, I don't want to take the pills. Cause I don't know if I'm going to be addicted. I don't know what it's going to do to my body. I'm just going to take that chance. Shit, I'm at 60-something years old. I've lived a good life. Let me just keep on living a good life and keep just, I'll take my chance. Life's supposed to be everything, twin. You got to take your medicine. Well, no, I don't. And that's how I look at the dogs. I love my dogs. I will probably leave this world loving my dogs. Mo the same way. Always going to love the dogs. Always going to respect the game. Yeah, we can talk about the history. We can talk about all of that. We're going to leave what goes on in the future for the future. Because you already know what it looks like. The Malcant and the Triple J and the other people that y'all seeing getting that ain't nothing new. That ain't nothing shocking to us. We didn't panic when we, you know, that people was getting raided and going through. But nobody panicking, because if they was panicking, we would have been stopped doing what we was doing. But we didn't. The shit that I see now, I mean, I'm sitting here looking at a video that they were describing a bus somewhere, and I'm looking at a guy, you know, with his cell phone, filming, you know, what was going on in the box. I'm looking at a guy filming what was going on in the box now, but then I stopped and thinking about, now, he filming what's going on in the box, but who filming the dude just sitting up there taking the film? I mean, there's somebody actually filming the dude just filming in the box. So I guess he must have been the police. So who invited the police to the party? One thing I can truly say, you know, and maybe because of my age and being around some of the older Bulldog people and everything that came with this game, because I had to learn it from somebody. There was a lot more respect going on. There was a lot more lead phones, you know, people getting searched. There was a lot more, you ain't no way you getting in the game. There's a lot more, you know, there's a whole lot of, don't nobody know who that is. Who is that? Because somebody better speak for that person. I don't know them, you don't know them, they ain't with me. Somebody better say something, accountability type of thing. I mean, I grew up in that era because that is the era I know. That's, you know, shit did happen. You know, these things, you know, behind stupid things, you know, raids always was going to happen. I mean, hell, give me something. When you start talking about underground, those things didn't happen. That was just a part of the risk. Everybody understood that risk. But at least understanding the risk, you know, they at least took precautions. I would never nowhere that somebody was actually sitting up there videotaping what was going on. And didn't nobody say nothing. wasn't unusual to walk into the club or the cookout and get patted down. Made me feel a lot more comfortable. Because at least ain't nobody got guns up in here. And if anybody got a gun, hopefully it's the person who's hosting the show. Because he's making sure he's the only one in up here that's got some protection to go on. So I mean, they're going to be responsible for everybody. I can work with that. You know, those were the days, fellas. Them days has been long out the door when I see people with cell phones and seeing the things that I see people do. Hell, they just do this bold on Facebook like, to me, it's almost worse than a phone situation. But bulldogging versus bullshitting, I come from an era of bulldogging. You know, y'all talk shit all you want about them, but but my thing was, my thing was everybody was bulldogging. Yeah, you had your bullshitters. Yeah, you had your thieves. We have everything that y'all had now back then. But for me, there was still a big majority and a selection that was still really doing the right thing. And that was creating and producing some of the baddest dogs that the game ever seen. Because that is what, when you bulldogging, that's what they was trying to do. That's what they were trying to create. That was the game. So when I speak of the game, that's a whole era of the past. It was long before we got there. And you have all the respect in the world, for other people and how they feel about it. It's cruel, yeah, it's cruel. I completely understand the tree huggers. Y'all right. But they ain't no different than the old 70, 80-year-old lady that stayed 3 doors down. And right across the street, they got a trap house. And everybody hanging out in her yard. Lack of respect. Back in my time, that trap house would be somewhere else. Because we wouldn't allow it. If you can't handle your business appropriately and you don't have no control, then we will handle it for you. Grab your shit and move it somewhere else because you can't do it here. And that's generally how underground shit worked if it was right. And I ain't promoting it, I'm just saying that's the way things happen. Not everybody live that street life. People don't know how, if you ain't never lived in the hood or you ain't never dealt and understand the street mentality of how to think and how to treat people, then I give you you people the break. Because that world is no different than the corporate world. Corporate world is, to me, is even nastier because they use a title and use all their connections to put their thumb on people. But when you're in that underworld situation, you got to have the same type of love and the same type of appreciation for the people around you. Because the people around you were always the ones that took care of you. You take care of them, they always took care of you. That's the street life that I lived. And I was a businessman because I took care of people regardless of, I didn't turn my nose up at street people. I didn't turn my nose up to the drug dealer. Actually, I grab them and come and let me teach you something. Help you get out these streets. Come over here and learn the trade and probably go right back to the street. Did the same thing with the music. Come in here, work in the studio, and then boom. What they did when they walked out that studio wasn't none of my business. It's not like I didn't know what they was doing. But does that make me a bad guy because I'm giving them a chance? No. They doing what they got to do to survive. I'm doing what I'm doing and trying to get them out of this a bad situation and go make some real money. But am I a bad guy because I'm willing to open my door to that person? That's why I don't look down on what people do in life. It's not my point. My point is, in order for this community to change like any and everything else, because this community has always been, in the crosshairs of society. And it never stops yet. But to sit back and act like, it's not happening, that's the part that, for me, we all knew what was happening because we all understood the risk. My thing now is when the innocent start getting hurt by it. That bothers me because that's like saying you're in the world of shit just because you own a dog or a treadmill or a breaking stick. That right there bothers me.
Lord knows you have a kennel accident.
Oh my gosh, a kennel accident. Oh my gosh. You bet. Look, you have a kennel accident. Imagine you got a kennel accident and to prevent yourself from being in trouble, you got to call the police and tell them, get animal control or the dog people over here, because I got a yard accident and I got 2 marked up dogs. And I need to get that, I need to get the DNA out here reported. I need to get this on file so I don't have to be charged with dog fighting. Who's going to do all that? Well, I just sat here and told you, don't even let them on the yard at all, for no reason. Welfare check, I wouldn't give a damn. Because something like that will lead you to be standing right in front of a court case trying to deal with something that you didn't have no control over. Because you didn't have no camera. And the fact is, you got 2 scarred up dogs. We don't know how they got scarred up, but we know those are 2 pit bull dogs in your hands and they are scarred up. You're a dog fighter. That's the part that I'm just saying. This community, don't hurry them do something. There's going to be a whole lot because right now they freewheeling in it like it's okay. And you notice they don't get much, they don't talk about it much. I mean, there's not enough coverage to see how people are actually dealing with these cases. It's like they lead you in the blind because they don't want you to know how to deal with these cases. That leaves you in limbo. When I see a murderer when I see a man accused of dog fighting but never was caught in the pit with a dog get 470 some years, and see a man that killed 6 family members and don't get the death penalty, but get 25 to life. 25 to life. And did not say without the possibility, or life sentence without the possibility of parole. You don't kill 6 people, but don't get the possibility, don't get that, life without the possibility, without the possibility of parole. That's a life sentence. That means you're going to die in prison. You're going to die in prison doing 473 years too. Without having say, you finna do life in prison without the possibility of parole. See, I'm looking at this whole situation like, I've been around a while, fellas, but they ain't never got this stupid. Because the same way he got a state case 473, Do you know that they can do the same thing with a conspiracy case and a Fed case and throw the book at you? 190 charges in a Fed case is a lot of charges, especially dealing with the part of the government when they win 99, 98, 99%. Who? Who's saying it? Hey, man. Check this out. Mo just brought something to my attention. You know I'm not reading the chat. The reason that everybody in that damn Shark Tank carries a blue wrench, that hardware, because we all agree that in here we can agree to disagree and we can say, you know, with respect to each other, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? They know how to handle it yourself and be able to speak to each other and be able to speak freely. But that hunky word that Mo keep telling me is popping up down there is disrespectful. And because what's the purpose? I'm not gonna like nobody in my chat walking around calling anybody the N-word. We'll talk about the dog because that's the dog's name. But I'm not a fan of using slurs like hunky and the N-word in the Shark Tank. We can go back and forth, but we don't have to go like that. See, race ain't gonna never be a problem in this room. Ain't never supposed to be a problem. And don't let my color fool you, because I done told you. Look, you do not understand. Coming from a mixed family, I don't see color. Believe me when I'm telling y'all. Listen what I'm saying. Not here. Don't do it here. If you do it here, and if you're doing it, you see, K-Monger, I'm saying your name. Because if you're doing it, you know what I'm talking about. And it's not accepted. And I would appreciate if you would stop right where, you know, leave that situation alone. Don't be mad. Just be respectful. All right? Anything other than that, you leaving me to have to deal with it. And I don't like kicking people out. I like everybody to be on the same playing field. I like everybody to respect each other. If you can't get respect nowhere else and still be able to, you know, talk bulldogs and have your own way of thinking and saying what you want to say, this is the place to be. This is why it's the Shark Tank. Everybody on the same playing field. You can't swim with the sharks, you get the hell out. Because they will eat your ass alive over here. Why? Because they can. You are part of that. Don't abuse that. Respect that. That's all I'm asking. So I would hope that little situation that Mo is speaking on is being dealt with, you know, long before I get out of this chair and I have to go over here and see it's been dealt with. Let the sharks handle that. Because when you become chum in the water, let it be for anything other than being disrespectful and using race as an issue. Because that don't fit here. Especially for this channel. Because we don't see color. A lot of y'all, you mean you see this part right here, but you don't understand. It's white all over us. I gotta have, you know, a mixed wife. I got a mixed mama. I got mixed kids. You finna see in a minute. You mean, my son, you know, most sons in town. And that's one thing, you know, he always wanted to come in and sit with his dad on his show. You see our kids every once in a while when they come in town, you always gonna see, you know, they drop their face in. But let's get away from the disrespect thing. Let's keep it on what the conversation's supposed to be about. Because I think this conversation is bad enough. Because, as you notice, they not being biased about who they gonna be knocking when it come to these dogs. Don't be fooled by that, y'all. They're not gonna be biased because they're not really. It's not about the person. It's actually always gonna be from, as they make this big ass push they're gonna make. It's about the eradication of the dogs. If you cut the damn head of the snake off, if you cut everybody who had these CHs and these GRs, and now everybody just got dogs, then the worthiness of the dogs has no more value. So we don't need the people to be dealing with the dogs. See, these dogs always been had values over the years because of those CHs and those GRs and those ROMs and those PORs. Y'all know that has always been the way we have graded these dogs. So y'all can't knock that. We didn't create that. That was there. This is the direction this game went in. So let's don't hate on that part, but just be clear and understand that it's that part that they're going after. It's that part that will have you associated with dogfighting even though you ain't. And as a community, how are you going to deal with it? I'm putting it right there in front of you. You see it happening. You don't want it to happen to you. Listen to what I'm saying there. Where the camera at? Don't let them on the yard. Videotape all movement. I don't see, if you're not doing anything, you should have nothing to worry about. Your camera should always have you out there when the time that you feed your dog and the time that you clean up shit. That keeps them from coming in to say the dog was living in filthy conditions and dying and everything, the shit that they say and they have on them news things, but then, that's their version. But then where's your version at? The true version. The true version had my brother out there an hour before y'all kicked in his door talking about he had starving dogs, and him had a couple days of him always at the same time doing the same damn thing every morning. Even had him out there in the yard doing the dogs when y'all was sneaking around driving by the house that early in the morning. Oh, they were shocked when they seen that. Oh, even caught him saying dumb shit on the camera. Oh, the camera didn't work. Oh, yeah, that camera, it really did work. Heard every damn thing you said. Yeah, that's in case they out there watching. Because they got a habit of doing that now. I know they be watching the show. Because I be seeing some of their little punk-ass comments. But you already know you playing with fire over here. You already know. So it ain't never been an easy task coming from this way. And always gonna give you hell. So if you don't come right, then shit's gonna be nasty for you. So come right. Shouldn't have to be worried about nobody lying on you, making up stories. But they do, y'all. Protect yourself. Understand your laws. Because these dogs are always going to be whatever we make of them. Then that's just what this game is always. Nobody out there in 2025 going to get me to believe that y'all can go back and do the same thing that Tudor was doing with his dogs way back in the day when they was coming off the boat. Because when he did what he did, these dogs was something totally new. They was creating shit. The shit we deal with today is almost like a Tudor time period, because now y'all gonna have to learn how to create something different than what was done back here. That's left for y'all to do. And how y'all do it. But one thing you definitely gonna have to do is fight for your rights to have the damn dogs. First and foremost. Because it should not be illegal to have a damn American Pit Bull Terrier, white or black, and be considered a dog fighter. And please don't let the color of my skin be the reason why we have the problems that we have. Because that's the direction it's going to be headed in if y'all don't stop them. And then Be careful who you deal with. That's why we're talking about it tonight. We got bulldogging and we got bullshitting.
It sure wasn't being
No.
discriminatory when they got Royal Bull.
Well, the whole world bull and everybody else that they hand up, they ain't being discriminatory with color. So get off the color thing, man. This ain't about color. I always say, for us as a black man, yeah, we got to be careful about. Look at it, you can see it, but they ain't really, they do it to any damn body. But as a, as a black man growing up in the, in a middle class where most of our neighbors was white, we didn't have to worry. My parents wasn't telling us, keep your hands at 10, 12, and 2, or however that shit go. We didn't have to worry about that because you had to worry about the neighbor catching you doing something wrong and then telling your parents. Look, we 60-some years old. Nowadays, yeah, we tell our kids, even I tell my kids, yes, sir, no, sir. Understand your rights. Don't just roll over and let them do whatever they want to do to you. Try to be right. Get your camera hot. Don't be in certain places. Didn't have no business over there. All the little things that the older I got and my kids were getting, the longer that list got about don't do. And see, in our household, you was stuck like Chuck because most of the time when we said don't do something, we wasn't asking. We was telling you. And we was hard on our kids like that. No, it's not like you had a choice. I told you not to go over there, but you took your ass over there anyway. And regardless of you didn't get in trouble or not, the fact that you did something I told you not to do, and you're going to pay for that. That's how I grew up. And I felt a lot more comfortable raising my children because my parents kind of took, it worked for me. I felt like the same treatment going to work for me and mine, and it did. And I try to tell mine now to have kids, keep your foot on their neck because the kids ain't supposed to lead the world before you do. And God has been good to me because I'm still here and I ain't lost a child yet in this crazy ass world. And all of them got dogs. All of them. Imagine my conversation. What, they ain't allowed to have dogs? Did that make them dog fighters? Your dad's going hard kennels. You're one of the twins. And so what? What that got to do with anything? They got dogs because they love their goddamn dog. And we'll be right there to fight for them and their rights when it's necessary. Because they should be allowed to have one of their family members' dogs. Them going hard dogs. My dad raised them. My uncle raised them. Yep. We got years of these. These are family dogs. If it ain't a going hard dog, it ain't in their house type of shit. That is their right to have them. Yeah, and I will always fight for their right. So just keep that in mind, man. I'm going to turn this over to Mo. No. What time is it? 11:30. Good. That gives me a chance that this is my show tonight. Mo, let me have the show tonight. Because I think this was a very important conversation because like the thing said, we already know this game has always been full of some bullshit, y'all. Y'all know that. Just check the history. The history ain't nothing that we go through right now that wasn't going through back then except for one thing. The laws did change. And now that the fact that you can be federally charged is just terrible. Because the feds, which that's the only place I know you can catch a conspiracy case at. And I always felt like, when they brought conspiracy Rico into the drug game, just having a conversation got you 10. Just having a conversation. So if they using Rico like that, You can imagine how they're going to use Rico over here in these dog games. And you know, snitches come a dime a dozen. You don't know who your friends is. I'm just always saying, look, be careful who you talk to. You know, trust your eyes. You know, let your eyes, you know, stick to the facts. Your eyes ain't gonna lie to you. If I see the sky blue, the sky gonna be blue. If I say I'm handing you this money for that dog, I seen that transaction happen because I did it. I'm a believer in that. I mean, that cuts down on a whole lot of the bullshit. You know, don't get lazy. Remember, we traveled. We didn't get lazy. We didn't have no problems going to do our breedings. We didn't have no problems going to pick up dogs. We didn't have problems. When you bulldogging, you are eliminating any room for bullshit. That's why I was licking dogs. Yes, I'm licking dog. You damn right, because I'm not embarrassed to lick this dog's ass tonight. I'm licking him. He right. And don't be mad because I be talking about no. That dog went in that towel. That dog stay in that towel. That dog, me, you, and this dog in this towel gonna be just like that. He ain't on your clothes. He gonna be and he wrapped up in that towel. And guess what? I'm right there, like this, and he gonna stay in that towel. Cause I didn't have no time. It wasn't gonna be no bullshit on my watch. Yeah. No, we ain't gonna go back there bringing the ball up. No, you bring the dog to the front and we breeding him up here. I'm seeing it. Can't do that, then we out of here. I mean, that to me is what I be thinking. That's what we got, man. That's bulldogging. You might talk that shit, but we know how to stop all that bullshit ass talking. We can cut all the talking out. We can stop it. Because that's when you bulldogging. Yeah, we all, you talk shit, but guess what? That's the thing about bulldogging. Eventually, if you about it and you really a bulldogger, you're going to find out, we're going to get down to the facts of the matter. Either that's some bullshit or it ain't, but we can find out. If you really want to find out. And anything afterward, I'm going to still shake your hand, but now we're going to be dealing with facts. It's the fact that was a piece of shit. But at least you wasn't about just talking. You was about that life. You bulldog. That bullshitter? Oh, he going to still be talking about that. Oh, he ain't want to do nothing. Man, come on. You know you ain't want to do nothing. Yeah, you tell me about it when you finally do something, Nobody should have time to be dealing with bullshit. And the only reason you all getting caught up in the bullshit because you got lazy. This dog game ain't never been something to be bullshitting with. Just because the laws changed don't mean that we wasn't all susceptible to being raided or having to go to court or having to deal with the bullshit that we had to deal with. That all came with the game of bulldogging. Never had time to be bullshitting nobody. Never worked hand in hand. And any activity was underground. If you got caught bullshitting, you was playing with your life. That's just a matter of, responsibility. When it came down to taking care of your business, man. And I'm saying this because I know I'm not talking to no goddamn kids. I'm talking to grown people. And I'm watching grown people go to jail. And dealing with something that they might have never had to deal with in their life, all because they was trying to be right behind a damn pit bull that they love. And being treated like they a bad guy. But I ain't never considered myself a bad guy. You know, I don't know how to take that type of shit. You know, I look at it, hell, Jesus Christ didn't do shit and they still hung his ass out to dry. And then I look at the Floyds and the Fat Bills and all them guys that went and did that time, and then I be feeling sorry for them because, again, bunch of bullshit. Carl Cruz, I mean, look how they did that shit, man. For what they trying to do now, they done did this shit before. I can sit here and talk about the shit because it's the truth. They might not like it, but it's the history. We enjoy our history. We're going to talk about our history because what we do in our history, can it help you into the future? Maybe. But who are we to tell? Because you can take a little bit of any and everything that we say and you utilize it to where it's going to work for you. Because that's what bulldogging is all about. Only you going to make the choice of what you choose to do, and however you choose to do it is still up to you. But always fight for your rights to have the dog first. And if you ain't willing to have that fight, then you go find something else to do. But I'm talking to the community. Y'all see what's happening. Be aware of what's happening. Don't get caught up with the bullshit. Keep bulldogging. But pay attention to the bullshit. Because, like I said, if it look like a goddamn duck, then it's a duck. I ain't say nothing about if I hear about it's a duck or anything. I said if it look like a damn duck, it is what it is. That's why I'm a true believer in believing what I'm seeing. If I'm seeing it and it don't make sense, it ain't gonna ever make sense. Don't be trying to tell me the sky goddamn it gray and I'm looking at it and it's blue. That ain't supposed to be an argument. You can go ahead and let it be gray. I'm gonna stick with my blue and we're gonna leave that light right where it is. Because you ain't gonna just convince me all of a sudden it's gonna be a gray day when I'm still seeing blue. I'm not gonna change my mind on that. And that's how I feel about bullshit. That's how I feel about bullshit. If I'm sitting here looking at bullshit and I know it's bullshit, and I'm looking at some papers and I'm looking at bullshit, regardless of what a story, whatever that story was, the thing is, I got to make the decision based on something I know that I'm looking at. Damn what everybody's saying, I'm looking at this shit. That don't look right. Mo, I could have swore you said Big John was dead in 2000, wasn't he? So how the hell is you reading? He was gone. He was stolen, right? So how the hell are we looking at a pedigree with a dog off of Big John in 2004? 2002. How did that happen? If I'm looking at it and I'm seeing it and I'm gonna ask him, Mo, you was on the yard. I thought he was dead in 2000. He was. Then how did this paper got this dog being bred to Big John in 2002? That means everything that I'm looking at in 2024 that I seen that happened back in 2002, that means to tell me everything about that from that point on been a bunch of bullshit. Period. Period. There ain't no way you're gonna fix that. Not when it's you trying to convince me that I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. Well, wait a minute. Don't say that. Don't say that because we know damn well what we talking about because we bred the Little John, remember? We was there to breed the Big John. Big John was gone. So that was in 2000. So y'all don't have to believe what we saying. Y'all go ahead and buy that shit that was bred in that came out in 2002. Go. I'm not gonna argue with you. You take that shit with you. I'm just telling you what I seen that I know damn well that's some bullshit. I ain't got to worry about changing your mind. You keep on believing that shit is real. I ain't got nothing to do with that. I'm just telling you what I seen, that's some bullshit. You know, you can feed that bullshit to somebody who don't know no better. But if we sitting here trying to tell you something, don't expect y'all to believe it. But don't be trying to feed it, because like I said, a lot of shit that people might feed you, shit, we all ain't dead. You know what I mean? So keep that thought in mind as you move around out here. You bulldog, and I'm game with you. I'm 100 down. I'm 100% riding bulldog hard, because we bulldogging. Just be careful. Do what you need to do. Take care of yourself. Take care of your family. Take care of your dogs. But if you out there bullshitting, are you one of them ones out there creating them 2004 Big John dogs? Or you one of them suckers that got caught up in that 1,538 motherfucking offsprings of Mayday? Or you one of them ones that talking about, I had a Mayday dog and he wasn't shit? Well, I'm just wondering.
Hey, my man said, Leatherman said he took straws off of Big John. That's a lie.
Hey.
That's not true.
Leatherman, I'm going to ask you something right quick. If Big John had some straws, and you're telling us, now listen to what you're saying now. You're trying to tell us this, knowing that we done bred to Little John because Big John was gone. Then what would have been the purpose of even trying to walk up to us with some Big John straws? Did that ever cross your mind? Now remember we traveled to him under the impression that we was going to be breeding to Big John. Now, at what point do you think he should have said he had straws? What's his name? Leatherman? Leatherman. I'm just saying. I hear what you're saying, but my argument with the B to you is this ain't no made up story. I can show you the breedings to Lil John if you like, because it did happen. Yeah, I can truly tell you Big John was gone in 2000. And there wasn't no damn straw. So if he was gone in 2000, at what point did they have these straws? Do you know when that part happened? Because you would think, and the way you talking is like they knew Big John was going to come up missing. That's what you're saying. I'm taking it that they wasn't expecting Big John to come up missing. Which is one of the reasons why they didn't have no straws. Why we wound up breeding to Lil John, because Big John was already gone. Which he knew that prior to us even coming down there, that where we was coming to do. You thought he was going to walk in the backyard and go bring some straw up and tell us it was Big John? If that's what people wanted to believe, well, that's not the way we worked that deal. He couldn't go to the backyard and bring shit to the front. So how you think that worked? If he had some semen off of Big John, that would have been the moment. That would have been the moment that he would have said it. Because he was strong enough to go to the backyard, go get something and bring it back to the front. Until he heard that hell no. When he heard that hell no, conversation changed. Hell no meant bring the dog to the front. Well, we can't. He got stolen. He's gone. Not he died. Somebody took him. Well, then, you could have told us that before we got here. That just goes to show you that bullshit that people be talking, that might work for people who don't know no better, but that shit don't work for a person who know better. This ain't no made up ass story. This is the real fucking deal. Once you don't have to believe it. All I want to know, did you go buy you some Big John straws? Or what you thought was some Big John straws that you are forced to believe that bullshit? That's on you.
He said allegedly.
Allegedly. I'm just saying, not saying that you did. I'm just saying allegedly. If you were one of them, then you were, you got bullshitted. Because allegedly, he ain't a champion. There's a whole lot of allegedly shit going on. But let's talk about some goddamn facts. What I'm saying to you is a fact. There is a fact Big John was not there when we got there. There is a fact that he would have went and got some goddamn tube of semen from something in that backyard and brought it to the front, and we had to let him do that. It was a fact that he didn't get a chance to do that the way he had to come clean. It's a fact. And because of that fact, we here now, bring Little John to the front. Still giving the man a chance to make some of that money. Now, how about that? Even got a little deal for our troubles. That's a fact. So, we kicking out the whole allegedly bullshit, and we're just going to tell you the fact of the matter is the dog was gone. That's the bottom line to that story. Now, for everybody else, that's like I said, I just hope some of y'all wasn't the ones that got that 1536 puppy out of Mayday. You know what I mean? I'm just hoping that you weren't one of them. And you really believe you got the 1536 puppy off Mayday. And you want to believe that shit, then you go right ahead. But I know it's a fact that he was at that university. I also know it's a fact before he left this state, it was 13 people who was left holding, goddamn it, nothing. So, that's the kind of shit I be talking about when, hey, y'all see me what I'm saying. You done seen Mo always bring these certain things up. This ain't no alleged bullshit because the facts, and we all ain't dead. This don't have to be allegedly. This is a fact. But I'm not speaking on the version of allegedly. I am speaking to you based on fact. Not my fact, but the reality of the fact of the matter. This is what the deal really was. You don't have to like it because of what you heard, but you don't even try to argue with me about what the fuck I know. That's all. That's where the conversation really just falls flat on its face. Because again, you still talking about that great shit, and I know what the fuck I done seen. Let it go. That ain't even worth me talking about no more. That's the point I'm trying to make. I'm bulldogging, and you over there on some bullshit. And don't even want to accept the fact that the bulldogging trying to tell you dealing with some bullshit. Because you so caught up in the bullshit, you want to rather believe the bullshit. To understand when somebody trying to do you a favor and really trying to tell you about the real shit. I ain't got to believe shit we say because it don't hurt us. Just believe this. We want one of those that just could go to the backyard and bring that bullshit to the front and try to say that was Big John. Just put it like that. That didn't happen for us. That's all. That's all. Because maybe a lot of people got caught up on that move. Because maybe y'all want, everybody just didn't stand on their business. But We just wasn't one of them. So I just put that out there because, again, we talking about bullshitting and bulldogging. You're going to get your better results when you start getting back to becoming the bulldogger you are and believing what you see and get away from what allegedly and what you heard. Because when you say anything before the allegedly, that means you done heard it. When I'm sitting here telling you about what the facts is, that's because I done seen it. And I'm going to always believe in what I see before I believe in what the fuck I heard. And I'm just telling y'all, when you bulldogging, you best to believe in what you see and when you're bulldogging. But if you out here bullshitting, then you get what you get. And you get what you deserve. And I don't mean to spit on nobody or make you feel bad, but it's just the reality of the condition of the game. Y'all heard how this thing started. I'm going to play it in the end. Just as a reminder, this game has always been shitty. But don't mean that everybody was shitty. That's all. Just a matter of which one you're trying to be. You're going to be the bulldogger or you're going to be the bullshitter. Who am I to judge? I'm just trying to tell you. You're going to be one or the other. I just think your odds is better when you're bulldogging, keeping it real, keeping it true, keeping your integrity, keep being true to the game. Because them the ones that actually make the game worth it. You know what I mean? Fuck all the fake shit. You know what I mean? Let me get my little nephew in here. Come on, Reese boy.
Where your wife at, nigga? She went to sleep. Oh, she went to sleep on you.
Look.
What's up, everybody?
Y'all, this is out of, how many Maurices is it? 4, 5 of y'all?
Mm-hmm.
About 4 of y'all?
Yeah.
This is another more. Come on in here. Come on in here, Niecy. Come on in here.
Come on in.
No, yeah. I always tell y'all when we got our family coming through, they come through. This is, come on, get down here and show everybody. Get in there. Y'all see her, right? This is my niece.
Hey, y'all.
You understand? This is my niece. Come here, did you get on here too? This is my nephew. All right? This is family. This is bulldog country. We all have them. You know what I mean? Color don't work around here. Only thing we don't fuck with is black dogs. All right, y'all? We don't fuck with black dogs. There's a reason why we don't fuck with black dogs. We have never lost to a black dog. All right? So why would we have one? You can understand where I'm coming from. But color don't work around here. This is family. And when they come through, I want y'all to understand this is how we roll. We ain't just new to this. We true to this. You know? And yeah, they bulldogging too. So if everybody who don't think that we can't bulldog nowadays, no. It's a whole bunch. I tell you, it's 3 other Maurices outside of the real one. I mean, I don't know how that works for him, but he just had this thing about himself. You know, Maurice 1, Maurice 2, Maurice 3. I was like, God damn. Then the last one, a Maurice 4? You got to be kidding me. That was bold. But like in every family, we all have family traits. And that one thing, when it comes to family traits, is we all understand color does not matter.
Man, that's what kings do, boy.
Well, you know.
Kings do that. They got to have.
You got Henry the Eighth, the first, the second, the third. I mean,
the
first, second, and the third.
That's that royalty shit, boy.
Shit, I cut that shit off in junior. Cause goddamn it ain't gonna be but one Michael around this bitch. That's what I was on. Shit. You over here, goddamn it, Jesus up there talking about it was a couple Michaels. Last time I checked, it wasn't but just one. But y'all know where I'm coming from, man. That's family, and you know it's good for us anytime the kids come through and want to come and hang out. But just so y'all have a better insight and a better look of why color don't matter around here. Y'all seen my wife. You know, that's not the only white y'all gonna see. I mean, R.I.P. rest in heaven, mama. You know what I'm saying? But this not ever been a color issue for us. So I always wanted to make sure y'all got that part understood. And I don't want nobody to feel free to ever think that, you know, we're going to have a color issue in this podcast or in that Shark Tank, because that's not going to happen. It's not about race. It's about the individual, the person.
He mixed.
Who?
Reese Boy.
Well, yeah, Reese Boy. Well, I mean, their whole damn family's mixed. But it's just, I mean, color don't make the person. The person inside of this is who you got to deal with. And I just, you know, color is something I'm not a fan of going back and forth about, because I'm not going to piss on my mom. I'm going to always respect my dad. So I'm going to always respect my mother-in-law. I'm going to always respect my wife. So we don't take sides, because it's family. And I will fuck you up over my family. I mean, that's just two things you will set me the fuck off. And that is fucking with my dogs and fucking with my family. And that's being straight up real. And that, you see my family, and where color don't matter, that even go down for the people in the hood to see my light-skinned nephew walking down the street, and all of a sudden think they're going to be hating on him, and then they're going to see his dark-skinned uncle come up, and everybody going to have big issues, including his family. See, those things, it's not going to ever be tolerated, because you're not going to change my mind of how I feel about it. Some people might have reasons to be different, but I'm not one of them. And over here, we respect each other as people, not color, but as people. Yeah, we talk shit about our Chico friends, our black friends, our white friends. But it's the truth. It's our truth. And that's what matters. The thing is, I don't have to bullshit y'all and lie to y'all to make something work. All I got to do is just tell you the story, and just based on my experience, you know, ride with it. Don't ask you to like it. I just want you to just understand this is why we feel the way we feel about certain things. It's okay. You can feel your way about whatever you want, but at least respect the next man. And that's what this, you know, thing is all about. When we start losing respect for each other, you know, you already know what that's, you know. Again, I'm not talking to kids, so you know how important respect is. And if you can understand that much, then you should understand why, when I'm saying you bulldogging, you have all the key factors of being a good bulldog man, woman. Because you have the love of the dog, you have the integrity as a person, you have the loyalty to, not only to the family, but the loyalty to your dog and the people you do business with. You know what I mean? And then there's truth. You believe in the truth. As long as you can take care of them things right there, you'll never be a bullshitter, because there's no room for the bullshit. And hopefully this conversation, this show tonight, will protect you from the bullshit. And I'm talking about, it don't matter who's the bullshit. You already know. I'm talking, you know, I done talked about the judges. I done talked about the police. I done talked about the animal control. I even talked about the seller and the buyer and the dog man. I think I've covered them all. Tonight, I guess it was my show. But who's the best person to talk about this matter is, I would think, would be me, because that was my job, to deal with all the bullshit. And I'm telling you, I don't deal with bullshit the way you think I'm supposed to deal with bullshit. You see how I handle bullshit. I'm going to tell you this is the fact, and you can believe that other bullshit you want. Allegedly, or however you want to take it. But that ain't the conversation that you're going to have with me. I'm going to just tell you the fact of the matter. Now, hopefully when you tell the story next time, you can take that allegedly shit and then just actually speak on what you just heard, which is a good source, a damn good source, and stand on fact. The fact of the matter. And not because I just said so. The fact of the matter because I did it. I was there. There is no argument. There is no allegedly shit. It's a fact. It happened. Mayday, Big John, a whole couple more now. Look, we didn't even look at the shit that we went with Lil Mayday and the Kunta thing. Do you know, man, what that would look like if we had a showed up and that shit had been like that? No wonder it never went down. Because they probably knew. Sure as hell wouldn't have one of us back in them days was walking on no shit like that. That was just, you was asking for a problem. But being it never happened, you know, and for it to come back the way it did, hey, let bygones be bygones. I mean, I take my hat off to the people who knew what to do with a real bulldog. I just wish people knew how he really was so they could have possibly did the right thing knowing who he really was and probably had better dogs out of him. Because this goddamn Little May's sister didn't have no problems creating some shit. So, and neither did he with a little bit, especially with the one that they did slip up and do. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, because he did that breeding with Sassy Girl. That's your shit. So when he done right, it produced. That's all. But then that's the bullshit that comes along with the game, and we have to accept the bullshit with the with the good shit. Thing is, if you want to cut down on the bullshit, cut down on the people that you associating yourself with the bullshit. If I'm dealing with something that's allegedly, that sounds like them court cases. He's allegedly a dog fighter. He's allegedly doing a lot of damn shit until the court of law. And you know how that allegedly shit works when you're dealing with the court of law. You just guilty as shit. Allegedly, you guilty as no. When it's all when that hammer comes down, when it's all said and done, you guilty allegedly with the fact. Oh, he's guilty knowing damn well. Allegedly. Come on, man. Come on, it never turns into a fact, man. This is the chances you taking. Don't take them chances. Protect yourself. Understand this conversation. Truly believe. I can tell you firsthand, been there, done that. Care who watching, they know it, I know it, and y'all need to know it. You know, things are not the same. It's up to you to make the difference. So, as we get ready to get up out of here, I really enjoy having y'all tonight. I know this conversation was one that needed to be had. It's serious with all the bullshit that I see going on, and my heart goes out to those people. It really do. 'Cause unless you've been through it, you don't know what that shit's like. You know what I'm saying? Unless you've been through it, you don't know what it's like. You know, so understanding, are you tough enough to even be dealing with a bulldog? You know, that's what it's boiling down to. But be careful. Understand the laws. Protect yourself. Protect your dogs. Be a bulldogger and stay away from the bullshitter. You know, when I be talking about it, be careful who you talk to. All on Facebook, all on YouTube. I'm still stuck on the man who was videotaping and look back at who the hell is videotaping him? He's smiling all in the camera, got his own camera in the box, but somebody was videotaping him, videotaping the fight. What kind of shit is, this things like that. I mean, I'm not making it up. Y'all seen the one in South Carolina. Y'all seen that shit. That boy was videotaping, and whoever was standing next to him was videotaping what he was videotaping. That's hands down. Oh, you cold busted. There's no room for denial in that conversation at all. Look what that looks like in front of the jury. That's Officer so and so, and that guy right there. That's Bobo, and Bobo smile. Look at him. He smiled for the camera. Why he got the camera? He smiling. That's him. That defendant right there. Him. See, those are fellas. Come on. There is no defense to that kind of dumb shit. That's all I'm saying, man. If you're going to put up a good fight, man, put up a good fight. Don't
start wearing clown masks. Nobody
no. We like this. We like this now. This is how it's gonna be. Is this how we need to start coming to the show? Do I need to cover up this much in my face, get rid of the going hard shit, and then start having a conversation? You know what I mean? Will y'all believe it's me? Is it? Do I have to remove the ring? The watch? Is it too much of my face still being shown? Because you know, I'm allegedly used to be a dog fighter. Allegedly now. Come on now. I ain't even gonna bullshit y'all. Take the allegedly shit off, and it is what it is. I have to accept my faults from all them years ago. I'm not blaming nobody who put us in it. Ain't nobody twisted our arm. Nobody made us. It was just a sport that we got caught up in, and it is what it is. We own that. And we got to own all the bullshit that came with that. Not put nobody down. Just tell you that it's the fact of the matter. So, accept your choices, man, and move on. That's all. Just make sure you more doing the bulldogging than being part of the problem, which is the bullshit. Because that bullshit is going to have you ass in some shit that you can never get out of. Because you was bullshitting. Running your mouth. Boom. They got you. That ain't true. I was just bullshitting. Well, buddy, you going to be the bullshitter sitting in front of them 12 people. And I'm telling you, when you smile for that camera, you kind of pretty much hung yourself. Pope, yeah, we know a lot of bullshitters. A lot of bullshitters. But a lot of them out there. You read them in the books. You hear the stories on them. But come on now. Is it all allegedly? Well, at some point, it's going to become a fact. Because that's generally what happens to bullshit. The truth going to come out and you're going to be stuck with the fact of the matter you was bullshitting. Which means you're full of shit. I mean, you ain't honest. You're a lying ass piece of shit ass dog, man. So you can run the list when you know. But anytime you got to hit them with the allegedly, you don't go passing shit on. You don't know what you talk about. Because that just brings you into a deeper conversation because no telling who you're going to have that argument with, and they might be the damn police, and you be done said some shit. Well, you allegedly nothing. No, you did have that conversation. Me and you talked about it. Yeah, but you didn't tell me you was the, well, didn't have to tell you. But be careful out here. Stay safe. I didn't get a chance to get into none of my names. K-Monger, I see you, fam. I'm talking about the oppressor. That devil's not the minority. That ain't. I K-Monger. Now, one thing, bro, I believe in what you're saying because that's society. That part of society is nothing brand new. And take it, man, I'll be 64 years old in June. You know? So, truly understand where you're coming from. Truly understand. That oppressor, nowadays, it's enough out there on YouTube. They ain't all white. I done seen some black ones. I done seen some Mexicans. I done seen some goddamn Puerto Rican. I done seen some Spanish police that are out there. That's the gang right there. You can't. They ain't been biased. You know, they all got their faults. The justice system, it's got its faults. Ain't no part of the government. I'm talking about city, state, local, federal. All that shit is just a bunch of bullshit. Because we don't have enough of the right shit that's going to be true to what the job that they're supposed to do. That's why we gotta be looking at it sideways every time we look. And if that's what you call them, oppressors, then we the people, and understanding what the Constitution speaks as our constitutional rights, there's the Constitution that we have a right to feel the way we want to feel when it comes to our government putting their foot on our neck.
Get that pressure off of it.
But you got to get the pressure off of it, and you can't do it by yourself. That's why I talk to the community, because we old enough to understand the simpleness of what life has handed us. We've lived long enough to understand. Now, I know some of y'all might be new to the game of Bulldogs, but you're not new to life. So understanding that situation and understanding how we can deal with it is the conversation I'm trying to have. First of all, we have to accept and acknowledge that the fact that it does exist. There is a movement to eradicate the American Pit Bull Terrier. Period. And if you do not understand and respect your right to have that dog the way you want to have that dog, that you're not willing to fight for the right to have that dog, then you need to get out of that dog. You need to get you another dog, because they're coming. And they're not being nice. And you don't know what color they're going to be. You don't know what color they're going to look like. They come in all shapes and sizes. All I'm telling you is prepare yourself for the inevitable. Because nobody ever wakes up in the morning and think they're not going to make it home. Every person who, look, I knew a guy, good guy. He was actually a bank manager. When I first opened up my business account 20 plus years ago, this was the guy that came in, set everything up, helped me with the business, got married, had kids, and one day he left his house after being married, I think 2 weeks, left his house, riding a bike, and somebody killed him and ran him over and took off. Brand new wife, brand new kid, good-hearted guy. And I always felt like, in the way I found out that happened, because when I had moved, I was talking to somebody, and I was like, well, what happened to old boy? They promoted him, or did he move on to another branch, or did corporate finally come and get him? I said, no, he got killed about a year ago on a bike, hit and run. And I thought that was sad, because this guy was a good-hearted guy. And for me, being a black man, went into a bank, dealing with a white guy who was cool as hell, who took care of me. See, that's why I don't see color. I dealt with him as a businessman, and he dealt with me as a business person. That he did all he could do to help. You don't really find too many people like that. That's why I still bank with the same people. Even though he's gone, I still think that somewhere in there I'm going to find that relationship, because in order to understand this, fellas, you can't put everybody in a bucket of shit. sometimes you got to go through a whole bunch of shit to get to the right thing that you're looking for. You know, but don't lump everybody as a piece of shit. And that holds true to the person. You know, just be the right person. That's all. So until Tuesday, man. I mean, it's been a while since I sat down and I put in some hours, and I felt comfortable having this conversation and talking to y'all tonight because this is the kind of shit that I know. You know, these are things that I can speak on and speak from the heart, and hopefully y'all feel my passion because my passion goes out to everybody who has went through this situation and everything that you have to get ready to deal with moving forward. My passion is there. And I hope y'all feel that. And if y'all can feel that and understand where I'm coming from, show me some love. By giving me some goddamn thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Muscles.
Muscles.
Muscles. Now, give me some damn roses. Roses. Might need them damn roses.
Yes, sir.
I need roses. No.
Good talk.
I need thumbs up. And I need some damn muscles. Now, y'all coming in and out of these damn chat rooms, everything. I ain't seen nobody talk about, $2 piece and all that, but I don't get mad about that. People donate because it's in their heart. Sooner or later, y'all, I don't want to wait till I die or something and all of a sudden everybody go to donate. But when it comes to them thumbs up and the muscles and all that other shit, that right there for me is a must for me because if you can't do nothing else, not even it, damn the like button. As much as the like button's supposed to have and them subscribe button's supposed to have so much major impact on this YouTube algorithm, no. Them damn thumbs up, them damn muscles, them damn roses that don't cost you nothing, that's what I grade appreciation on. I have 33 people in the room and don't have but 4 people to put up something. Let me explain how this thing here works for us. I know I don't expect people to care. I don't expect people to be like, because y'all grown people, but this is what it does for me. It keeps us coming in here doing this. And the minute I feel like that's not there anymore, at 60-something plus years old, there is a whole lot I could do on this Friday night. And I know damn well in the middle of the week on Tuesday, before hump day, if it ain't nothing but to sit down and watch TV with my wife, I would have that to look forward to than to sit here and be disrespected and unappreciated trying to do what I feel is what we call passing it forward, because that means a lot to us. And until y'all give me a reason, or I feel there's a reason, or something happened to my brother to where there's no more need to do this, then at least we're going to do this on our terms. But for right now, if you show up and show out, show some love. And I mean, show some love. Because you could be doing far more than sitting here watching this video. But because you are, I'm going to appreciate the fact that you're here. I'm going to appreciate it even more and get goo-eyed just because I see them roses and I see them thumbs up and I see them muscles, because it just feels a little bit better when you know you're being appreciated and somebody, at least somebody, was listening. Somebody got the message. Somebody understood. Somebody wanted to show their appreciation. And I just would think that it would be more than just 4. So, don't take it to heart. Don't take it to heart. Just show a bit of love. That's all. Until Tuesday, y'all stay safe. I'm finna run my thing back again. I ain't gonna kill y'all with it, but I'm gonna show the hell let y'all have it. Until we get it up.
The dog game is dying.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the game
I'll
first,
hear it.
not the dogs. It's the challenge
See
of the
y'all.
wins, the competitive addiction, the thrill of the win, and the rewards of achievements. Losing
And
only gives
remember,
you the drive to come back.
We
I learned to watch
always,
my
I
motivation was
said
there,
we
my decatation.
always
Now I'm a winner.
scratch the
The problem
win.
is the cheating to win,
Love y'all, man.
manipulating the
Get out of
truth,
here.
and then it's the all-out liars. How is this sharing our achievements with liars, cheaters, and bullshitters? We have lost the historical value of the dog game. We can't decipher the real from the fake, the lost is the cost. So I salute these dogs of going hard kennels for all that you've given me in the game.
Let's talk about pit bulls. The history, the breeding, the maintaining and feeding, and the controversies surrounding the great hunts. Come interact with the legends, and ask questions, and listen to their stories as we talk about kennels and dogs of the past and present. Hosted by one of the game's most respected kennels, with over 40 years in the hunt, going hard kennels Twin 1 and Twin 2, dogs like Champion the Debrat, the very first champion off-brand champion May Day, the Dog of the Year, and Register of Merit. Champion Pretty Mama, 2-time Best in Show and 2-time Gamest in Show. Going Hard's Bay Bay, Register of Merit, Damn to Champion What a Day, Champion Gus, Champion El Rod, and Champion Yellow Bird. So pull up a seat, and let's talk dogs.
Little man, I see you,
The
fam.
dog
Ain't no
game is
big,
dying.
ain't no biggie, fam.
Let's talk about the game
LOL.
first,
Ain't no
not the
biggie,
dogs.
man. Still
It's
showing the
challenge
love,
of the
man.
wins, the competitive addiction.
It wasn't
the
nothing
thrill of
bad,
the
man.
win, and
I
the
was
rewards
just,
of
this
achievements.
gave me a
Losing
reason to
only
go a
gives you the drive to
another
come back.
direction.
I
But
learned to watch the
appreciate
winners.
that, man.
My
Ain't no hard
motivation was
feelings,
there.
man.
My decatation was evident. Now I'm a winner.
Man, ain't no biggie,
Problem is the
fam. Ain't
cheating
no
to
biggie. You ain't
win,
seen
manipulating
nothing
the
wrong.
truth, and then it's the all-out liars.
You're in the
How
Shark
is this
Tank,
sharing our
baby.
achievements with liars, cheaters, and bullshitters? We have lost the historical value of the dog game. We can't decipher the real from the fake, the lost is the cost. So I salute these dogs of going hard kennels for all that you've given me in the game.
Let's talk about pit bulls. The history, the breeding, the maintaining and feeding, and the controversies surrounding the great hunts. Come interact with the legends, and ask questions, and listen to their stories as we talk about kennels and dogs of the past and present. Hosted by one of the game's most respected kennels, with over 40 years in the hunt, going hard kennels Twin 1 and Twin 2, dogs like Champion the Debrat, the very first champion off-brand champion May Day, the Dog of the Year, and Register of Merit. Champion Pretty Mama, 2-time Best in Show and 2-time Gamest in Show. Going Hard's Bay Bay, Register of Merit, Damn to Champion What a Day, Champion Gus, Champion El Rod, and Champion Yellow Bird. So pull up a seat, and let's talk dogs.
The dog game is dying. Let's talk about the game first, not the dogs. It's the challenge of the wins, the competitive addiction, the thrill of the win, and the rewards of achievements. Losing only gives you the drive to come back. I learned to watch the winners, my motivation was there, my decatation was evident, now I'm a winner. The problem is the cheating to win, manipulating the truth, and then it's the all-out liars. How is this sharing our achievements with liars, cheaters, and bullshitters? We have lost the historical value of the dog game. We can't decipher the real from the fake, the lost is the cost. So I salute these dogs of going hard kennels for all that you've given me in the game.
Let's talk about pit bulls. The history, the breeding, the maintaining and feeding, and the controversies surrounding the great hunts. Come interact with the legends, and ask questions, and listen to their stories as we talk about kennels and dogs of the past and present. Hosted by one of the game's most respected kennels, with over 40 years in the hunt, going hard kennels Twin 1 and Twin 2, dogs like Champion the Debrat, the very first champion off-brand champion May Day, the Dog of the Year, and Register of Merit. Champion Pretty Mama, 2-time Best in Show and 2-time Gamest in Show. Going Hard's Bay Bay, Register of Merit, Damn to Champion What a Day, Champion Gus, Champion Elrod, Champion Yellowbird. So pull up a seat, and let's talk dogs.
The dog game is dying. Let's talk about the game first, not the dogs. It's the challenge of the wins, the competitive addiction, the thrill of the win, and the rewards of achievements. Losing only gives you the drive to come back. I learned to watch the winners, my motivation was there, my dedication was evident, now I'm a winner. The problem is the cheating to win, manipulating the truth, and then it's the all outliers. How is this sharing our achievements with liars, cheaters, and bullshitters? We have lost the historical value of the dog game. We can't decipher the real from the fake, the lost is the cost. So I salute these dogs of going hard kennels for all that you've given me in the game.
Let's talk about pit bulls. The history, the breeding, the maintaining and feeding, and the controversies surrounding the great hunts. Come interact with the legends, and ask questions, and listen to their stories as we talk about kennels and dogs of the past and present. Hosted by one of the game's most respected kennels, with over 40 years in the hunt, going hard kennels Twin 1 and Twin 2, dogs like Champion the Debrat, the very first champion off Grand Champion May Day, the Dog of the Year, and Register of Merit. Champion Pretty Mama, 2-time Best in Show and 2-time Gamest in Show. Going Hard's Bay Bay, Register of Merit, Damn to Champion What a Day, Champion Gus, Champion Elrod, Champion Yellowbird. So pull up a seat, and let's talk dogs.
The dog game is dying. Let's talk about the game first, not the dogs. It's the challenge of the wins, the competitive addiction, the thrill of the win, and the rewards of achievements. Losing only gives you the drive to come back. I learned to watch the winners, my motivation was there, my dedication was evident, now I'm a winner. The problem is the cheating to win, manipulating the truth, and then it's the all outliers. How is this sharing our achievements with liars, cheaters, and bullshitters? We have lost the historical value of the dog game. We can't decipher the real from the fake, the lost is the cost. So I salute these dogs of going hard kennels for all that you've given me in the game.
Let's talk about pit bulls. The history, the breeding, the maintaining and feeding, and the controversies surrounding the great hunts. Come interact with the legends, and ask questions, and listen to their stories as we talk about kennels and dogs of the past and present. Hosted by one of the game's most respected kennels, with over 40 years in the hunt, going hard kennels Twin 1 and Twin 2, dogs like Champion the Debrat, the very first champion off Grand Champion May Day, the Dog of the Year, and Register of Merit. Champion Pretty Mama, 2-time Best in Show and 2-time Gamest in Show. Going Hard's Bay Bay, Register of Merit, Damn to Champion What a Day, Champion Gus, Champion Elrod, Champion Yellowbird. So pull up a seat, and let's talk dogs.
The dog game is dying. Let's talk about the game first, not the dogs. It's the challenge of the wins, the competitive addiction, the thrill of the win, and the rewards of achievements. Losing only gives you the drive to come back. I learned to watch the winners, my motivation was there, my dedication was evident, now I'm a winner. The problem is the cheating to win, manipulating the truth, and then it's the all outliers. How is this sharing our achievements with liars, cheaters, and bullshitters? We have lost the historical value of the dog game. We can't decipher the real from the fake, the lost is the cost. So I salute these dogs of going hard kennels for all that you've given me in the game.
Let's talk about pit bulls. The history, the breeding, the maintaining and feeding, and the controversies surrounding the great hunts. Come interact with the legends, and ask questions, and listen to their stories as we talk about kennels and dogs of the past and present. Hosted by one of the game's most respected kennels, with over 40 years in the hunt, going hard kennels Twin 1 and Twin 2, dogs like Champion the Debrat, the very first champion off-brand champion May Day, the Dog of the Year, and Register of Merit. Champion Pretty Mama, 2-time Best in Show and 2-time Gamest in Show. Going Hard's Bay Bay, Register of Merit, Damn to Champion What a Day, Champion Gus, Champion Elrod, Champion Yellowbird. So pull up a seat, and let's talk dogs.
The dog game is dying. Let's talk about the game first, not the dogs. It's the challenge of the wins, the competitive addiction, the thrill of the win, and the rewards of achievements. Losing only gives you the drive to come back. I learned to watch the winners, my motivation was there, my dedication was evident, now I'm a winner. The problem is the cheating to win, manipulating the truth, and then it's the all outliers. How is this sharing our achievements with liars, cheaters, and bullshitters? We have lost the historical value of the dog game. We can't decipher the real from the fake, the lost is the cost. So I salute these dogs of going hard kennels for all that you've given me in the game.
Let's talk about pit bulls. The history, the breeding, the maintaining and feeding, and the controversies surrounding the great hunts. Come interact with the legends, and ask questions, and listen to their stories as we talk about kennels and dogs of the past and present. Hosted by one of the game's most respected kennels, with over 40 years in the hunt, going hard kennels Twin 1 and Twin 2, dogs like Champion the Debrat, the very first champion off-brand champion May Day, the Dog of the Year, and Register of Merit. Champion Pretty Mama, 2-time Best in Show and 2-time Gamest in Show. Going Hard's Bay Bay, Register of Merit, Damn to Champion What a Day, Champion Gus, Champion Elrod, Champion Yellowbird. So pull up a seat, and let's talk dogs.
The dog game is dying. Let's talk about the game first, not the dogs. It's the challenge of the wins, the competitive addiction, the thrill of the win, and the rewards of achievements. Losing only gives you the drive to come back. I learned to watch the winners, my motivation was there, my dedication was evident, now I'm a winner. The problem is the cheating to win, manipulating the truth, and then it's the all outliers. How is this sharing our achievements with liars, cheaters, and bullshitters? We have lost the historical value of the dog game. We can't decipher the real from the fake, the lost is the cost. So I salute these dogs of going hard kennels for all that you've given me in the game.
Let's talk about pit bulls. The history, the breeding, the maintaining and feeding, and the controversies surrounding the great hunts. Come interact with the legends, and ask questions, and listen to their stories as we talk about kennels and dogs of the past and present. Hosted by one of the game's most respected kennels, with over 40 years in the hunt, going hard kennels Twin 1 and Twin 2, dogs like Champion the Debrat, the very first champion off-brand champion May Day, the Dog of the Year, and Register of Merit. Champion Pretty Mama, 2-time Best in Show and 2-time Gamest in Show. Going Hard's Bay Bay, Register of Merit, Damn to Champion What a Day, Champion Gus, Champion Elrod, Champion Yellowbird. So pull up a seat, and let's talk dogs.
The dog game is dying. Let's talk about the game first, not the dogs. It's the challenge of the wins, the competitive addiction, the thrill of the win, and the rewards of achievements. Losing only gives you the drive to come back. I learned to watch the winners, my motivation was there, my dedication was evident, now I'm a winner. The problem is the cheating to win, manipulating the truth, and then it's the all outliers. How is this sharing our achievements with liars, cheaters, and bullshitters? We have lost the historical value of the dog game. We can't decipher the real from the fake, the lost is the cost. So I salute these dogs of going hard kennels for all that you've given me in the game.
Let's talk about pit bulls. The history, the breeding, the maintaining and feeding, and the controversies surrounding the great hunts. Come interact with the legends, and ask questions, and listen to their stories as we talk about kennels and dogs of the past and present. Hosted by one of the game's most respected kennels, with over 40 years in the hunt. Going hard Kennels Twin 1 and Twin 2, dogs like Champion the Debrat, the very first champion off Grand Champion May Day, the Dog of the Year, and Register of Merit. Champion Pretty Mama, two-time Best in Show and two-time Gamest in Show. Going Hard's Bay Bay, Register of Merit, Damn to Champion What a Day, Champion Gus, Champion Elrod, Champion Yellow Bird. So pull up a seat, and let's talk dogs.
The dog game is dying. Let's talk about the game first, not the dogs. It's the challenge of the wins, the competitive addiction, the thrill of the win, and the rewards of achievements. Losing only gives you the drive to come back. I learned to watch the winners, my motivation was there, my dedication was evident, now I'm a winner. The problem is the cheating to win, manipulating the truth, and then it's the all-out liars. How is this sharing our achievements with liars, cheaters, and bullshitters? We have lost the historical value of the dog game. We can't decipher the real from the fake, the lost is the cost. So I salute these dogs of going hard kennels for all that you've given me in the game.
Let's talk about pit bulls. The history, the breeding, the maintaining and feeding, and the controversies surrounding the great hunts. Come interact with the legends, and ask questions, and listen to their stories as we talk about kennels and dogs of the past and present. Hosted by one of the game's most respected kennels, with over 40 years in the hunt. Going hard Kennels Twin 1 and Twin 2, dogs like Champion the Debrat, the very first champion off Grand Champion May Day, the Dog of the Year, and Register of Merit. Champion Pretty Mama, two-time Best in Show and two-time Gamest in Show. Going Hard's Bay Bay, Register of Merit, Damn to Champion What a Day, Champion Gus, Champion Elrod, Champion Yellow Bird. So pull up a seat, and let's talk dogs.
The dog game is dying. Let's talk about the game first, not the dogs. It's the challenge of the wins, the competitive addiction, the thrill of the win, and the rewards of achievements. Losing only gives you the drive to come back. I learned to watch the winners, my motivation was there, my dedication was evident, now I'm a winner. The problem is the cheating to win, manipulating the truth, and then it's the all-out liars. How is this sharing our achievements with liars, cheaters, and bullshitters? We have lost the historical value of the dog game. We can't decipher the real from the fake, the lost is the cost. So I salute these dogs of going hard kennels for all that you've given me in the game.
Let's talk about pit bulls. The history, the breeding, the maintaining and feeding, and the controversies surrounding the great hunts. Come interact with the legends, and ask questions, and listen to their stories as we talk about kennels and dogs of the past and present. Hosted by one of the game's most respected kennels, with over 40 years in the hunt. Going hard Kennels Twin 1 and Twin 2, dogs like Champion the Debrat, the very first champion off Grand Champion May Day, the Dog of the Year, and Register of Merit. Champion Pretty Mama, two-time Best in Show and two-time Gamest in Show. Going Hard's Bay Bay, Register of Merit, Damn to Champion What a Day, Champion Gus, Champion Elrod, Champion Yellow Bird. So pull up a seat, and let's talk dogs.
The dog game is dying. Let's talk about the game first, not the dogs. It's the challenge of the wins, the competitive addiction, the thrill of the win, and the rewards of achievements. Losing only gives you the drive to come back. I learned to watch the winners, my motivation was there, my dedication was evident, now I'm a winner. The problem is the cheating to win, manipulating the truth, and then it's the all-out liars. How is this sharing our achievements with liars, cheaters, and bullshitters? We have lost the historical value of the dog game. We can't decipher the real from the fake, the lost is the cost. So I salute these dogs of going hard kennels for all that you've given me in the game.
Let's talk about pit bulls. The history, the breeding, the maintaining and feeding, and the controversies surrounding the great hunts. Come interact with the legends, and ask questions, and listen to their stories as we talk about kennels and dogs of the past and present. Hosted by one of the game's most respected kennels, with over 40 years in the hunt, going hard Kennels Twin 1 and Twin 2, dogs like Champion the Debrat, the very first champion off Grand Champion May Day, the Dog of the Year, and Register of Merit. Champion Pretty Mama, 2-time Best in Show and 2-time Gamest in Show. Going Hard's Bay Bay, Register of Merit, Damn to Champion What a Day, Champion Gus, Champion Elrod, Champion Yellowbird. So pull up a seat, and let's talk dogs.
The dog game is dying. Let's talk about the game first, not the dogs. It's the challenge of the wins, the competitive addiction, the thrill of the win, and the rewards of achievements. Losing only gives you the drive to come back. I learned to watch the winners, my motivation was there, my decatation was evident, now I'm a winner. The problem is the cheating to win, manipulating the truth, and then it's the all-out liars. How is this sharing our achievements with liars, cheaters, and bullshitters? We have lost the historical value of the dog game. We can't decipher the real from the fake, the lost is the cost. So I salute these dogs of going hard kennels for all that you've given me in the game.
Let's talk about pit bulls. The history, the breeding, the maintaining and feeding, and the controversies surrounding the great hunts. Come interact with the legends, and ask questions, and listen to their stories as we talk about kennels and dogs of the past and present. Hosted by one of the game's most respected kennels, with over 40 years in the hunt, going hard Kennels Twin 1 and Twin 2, dogs like Champion the Debrat, the very first champion off Grand Champion May Day, the Dog of the Year, and Register of Merit. Champion Pretty Mama, 2-time Best in Show and 2-time Gamest in Show. Going Hard's Bay Bay, Register of Merit, Damn to Champion What a Day, Champion Gus, Champion Elrod, Champion Yellowbird. So pull up a seat, and let's talk dogs.
The dog game is dying. Let's talk about the game first, not the dogs. It's the challenge of the wins, the competitive addiction, the thrill of the win, and the rewards of achievements. Losing only gives you the drive to come back. I learned to watch the winners, my motivation was there, my decatation was evident, now I'm a winner. The problem is the cheating to win, manipulating the truth, and then it's the all-out liars. How is this sharing our achievements with liars, cheaters, and bullshitters? We have lost the historical value of the dog game. We can't decipher the real from the fake, the lost is the cost. So I salute these dogs of going hard kennels for all that you've given me in the game.
Let's talk about pit bulls. The history, the breeding, the maintaining and feeding, and the controversies surrounding the great hunts. Come interact with the legends, and ask questions, and listen to their stories as we talk about kennels and dogs of the past and present. Hosted by one of the game's most respected kennels, with over 40 years in the hunt, going hard Kennels Twin 1 and Twin 2, dogs like Champion the Debrat, the very first champion off Grand Champion May Day, the Dog of the Year, and Register of Merit. Champion Pretty Mama, 2-time Best in Show and 2-time Gamest in Show. Going Hard's Bay Bay, Register of Merit, Damn to Champion What a Day, Champion Gus, Champion Elrod, Champion Yellowbird. So pull up a seat, and let's talk dogs.
The dog game is dying. Let's talk about the game first, not the dogs. It's the challenge of the wins, the competitive addiction, the thrill of the win, and the rewards of achievements. Losing only gives you the drive to come back. I learned to watch the winners, my motivation was there, my decatation was evident, now I'm a winner. The problem is the cheating to win, manipulating the truth, and then it's the all-out liars. How is this sharing our achievements with liars, cheaters, and bullshitters? We have lost the historical value of the dog game. We can't decipher the real from the fake, the lost is the cost. So I salute these dogs of going hard kennels for all that you've given me in the game.
Let's talk about pit bulls. The history, the breeding, the maintaining and feeding, and the controversies surrounding the great hunts. Come interact with the legends, and ask questions, and listen to their stories as we talk about kennels and dogs of the past and present. Hosted by one of the game's most respected kennels, with over 40 years in the hunt, going hard Kennels Twin 1 and Twin 2, dogs like Champion the Debrat, the very first champion off Grand Champion May Day, the Dog of the Year, and Register of Merit. Champion Pretty Mama, 2-time Best in Show and 2-time Gamest in Show. Going Hard's Bay Bay, Register of Merit, Damn to Champion What a Day, Champion Gus, Champion Elrod, Champion Yellowbird. So pull up a seat, and let's talk dogs.
The dog game is dying. Let's talk about the game first, not the dogs. It's the challenge of the wins, the competitive addiction, the thrill of the win, and the rewards of achievements. Losing only gives you the drive to come back. I learned to watch the winners, my motivation was there, my dedication was evident, now I'm a winner. The problem is the cheating to win, manipulating the truth, and then it's the all outliers. How is this sharing our achievements with liars, cheaters, and bullshitters? We have lost the historical value of the dog game. We can't decipher the real from the fake, the lost is the cost. So I salute these dogs of going hard kennels for all that you've given me in the game.
Let's talk about pit bulls. The history, the breeding, the maintaining and feeding, and the controversies surrounding the great hunts. Come interact with the legends, and ask questions, and listen to their stories as we talk about kennels and dogs of the past and present. Hosted by one of the game's most respected kennels, with over 40 years in the hunt, going hard Kennels Twin 1 and Twin 2, dogs like Champion the Debrat, the very first champion off Grand Champion May Day, the Dog of the Year, and Register of Merit. Champion Pretty Mama, 2-time Best in Show and 2-time Gamest in Show. Going Hard's Bay Bay, Register of Merit, Damn to Champion What a Day, Champion Gus, Champion Elrod, Champion Yellowbird. So pull up a seat, and let's talk dogs.
The dog game is dying. Let's talk about the game first, not the dogs. It's the challenge of the wins, the competitive addiction, the thrill of the win, and the rewards of achievements. Losing only gives you the drive to come back. I learned to watch the winners, my motivation was there, my dedication was evident, now I'm a winner. The problem is the cheating to win,